Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Shunting Yard. I was going to push the button for the stream intro, but apparently we haven't paid for it, so you just got to watch us, it seems.
We spent the budget on the news and the news thing last week, so last time, so
Last week? We all took a break last
Yeah,
week.
okay, all right. That's last time we did a stream.
Yes, it's been a while, so thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for tuning in. Apparently nobody is watching us according to my timer, but I can see plenty of comments coming up. So Rob, you might have to correct me. The numbers don't look right. Anyway.
It's just started up on my tablet now.
There you go. Of course it didn't start on time. We're getting all the lovely comments. So, welcome back. Sorry that we've been away for 2 weeks. We decided to have a little summer break, and it seems that Hilton and Dan have just decided they can't be asked this week either. So talk to them in the chat if you like, but don't worry so much. I'm joined, as usual, with Rob. Say hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
And this week we are joined with special guest Lawrie of Lawrie's Mechanical Marvels. Lawrie, how are you?
I'm good, I think. Last time I checked, anyway. Yeah.
No bullet holes.
It's warm in the office. It's one of those things. I've got an air conditioning unit in my bedroom now, and it's glorious. It's like walking to a fridge, and like you then come into the office and you're like, I didn't know I'd invested in a sauna. Editing in a sauna, bad move.
Very bad move. You managed it. Your last video was great. I'm hoping the next one will be even better. We'll see how it goes. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I don't even know what that's going to be. That's exciting.
Oh, that's always good, isn't it?
There's a competition going on between me and Tom. So Tom's editing something from weekend before last, and I'm editing something from last weekend. It's like neck and neck who's going to get it done. They both should be out this week. Probably one will be tomorrow and one will be Sunday. But which one? Who knows?
Oh, okay. Speaking of warm in your offices, is it hot in the UK again? I heard there was a lull in the temperature after I left, so apparently I took the heat with me.
It was lovely for a bit.
It's a tad warm in the loft this evening, I must admit. It's bordering about 30 degrees up here, and I am melting.
We are working on the Ruston tomorrow, and the temperature is meant to be 31 degrees at Reefham.
Good luck.
That's awful. We've got to clean the 48 before it goes away. And it's going to be like, right, hose on it, wet it down. Oh, it's dry.
Just dry immediately.
Just done. Just done. You got to be careful when cleaning off the gunk then, just in case you start staining everything.
I hadn't even thought of that, yeah. The brasso would
true.
When you're doing brasso on the foot plate and the engine's starting to get hot, you're like, I put the brasso on and hot, and it's dried on, it's all gone all horrible and crusty, right? Try and get it off, and it's going to be like that with the nameplates. It's just like, put the brasso on and it's dry. So great.
Hopefully not streaky.
Oh no.
You don't want streaks going to an event like that.
No. The problem is, I'm going to clean it over the weekend, ready for it to go on. It goes on Monday, and then I have literally no idea what happens next. I don't know if I can get back to clean it. I don't know if I'm allowed back in. I have no idea.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. So there we are. So there's the three of us this evening. So thank you again, Lawrie, for joining us. Let's see who we've got in the chat. We've got Phil. Welcome, Phil. Hilton is joining us. Apparently, he's not playing with Maud. Who's Maud?
I'm pretty sure he probably is.
He probably is playing with Maud. Don't tell Annie. Dan's in the chat as well. Why are you two being lazy this evening? I hope you're drinking something, please. Of course, Tom from Buggle Skelly Station. Welcome. Matt's Maritime
My best
is here.
friend.
Thunderblade 989 is here as well. Thank you very much for joining. Charlie, Double M Dave, Lukash is here. Oliver. 3B. Wow, we've got a lot of people here today, so thank you very much for joining us. And some new faces. We've got Garden Railway is here. Zach M. Don't think I've seen you here before. If I have, I'm sorry. Otherwise, welcome. And welcome to anybody else who's joining us today. So thank you very much. I will get round to any comments and questions and things. I will try and keep up. Bear with me. I'm a little bit rusty. So, before we get started, we have to ask, what are we drinking tonight, guys?
I'm on the water.
Featuring Copperberg's non-alcoholic cider. As a frightfully adventurous person, this particular flavour comes in strawberry and lime. It's both refreshing sweet and strawberry and limey.
Lovely. Lovely. Well, cheers to that. I am drinking Brewdog Punk IPA, and I only bought one, which is a bad mistake. I'm going to be heavily drinking this weekend, so yeah.
I also have zesty flavors of Panther.
Oh,
And-
you're fully
And a
set
refill.
up. And a
Everything.
refill, Steve. Fully set up. Fully set up. Fantastic. And then the other question: what modelling has been done this week, if any? And Lawrie, I will allow 1-to-1 scale stuff as well, just for this week.
I have done sweet FA this week in modelling. Tomorrow is the 1-to-1 scale modelling day. So far this week, I have looked at things and gone, that's a really lovely model over there. I should do something with that, and I've made plans. But this week has been editing, and that's about it. And that literally behind the laptop, I have a desk, a shelf on my desk, which are my next projects to try and fix. And I'm looking at them, just peering around the screen, and like, I should get on with that. I really should fix that. And that's literally as far as we've gone. So yeah, I'm a failure.
Getting there.
No,
doing
just
more than
failing.
most.
I'm more than most of. Oh, look, that is something that I could fix in the future. I went on eBay. Does that
At
count?
some point.
Oh, I went on eBay and I bought another loco by mistake.
By mistake.
1-to-1.
No. I have a really bad habit at the moment of going onto eBay and typing 00 locomotive and just seeing what's about to finish and saying, if it becomes ridiculously cheap. I do need to build a baseboard. I also need to fix subsidence, but I was looking at a bridge, Nick. I was looking at a bridge. That was why I went onto eBay, was to try and find a nice curved bridge. And then I started looking at locomotives, and then there was a Fowler British Railway Early Crest tank with a make an offer. And so I was like, 20 quid. And then it came up and went, PayPal. And I went, cool.
Done.
So that was
Can't complain for that.
That's my favorite thing, is now just sending like absolute lowball offers on eBay when it's best offer. Like when it's got an hour or less to go and being like, well, do you want to sell it? Do you want it gone? Or the other great technique is, if you have a group of friends, say, and there's a model that you want that's taking offers and you're going to lowball, is you get your friends to all send slightly higher lowball offer. So if it's up for £100 and you fancy paying £50 for it, you get your friends to send offers of £45, and then you go in with, well, I'll offer you 50. And it's amazing how often it works.
I'll have to remember that one for future.
I think I'm going to also have to do that. Although, I do that every time I go to the UK. I do the same thing. I sit there binging eBay for like 3 or 4 weeks beforehand, and then worry when I have to pack my bag for Ryanair and go, how the hell am I going to stick all this stuff? I mean, I had to leave stuff in the UK. This is the last time when I came back, so I only brought back one loco and some rolling stock. There's 2 more still waiting at home for me, so I know the pain.
When I got out to Poland to be on the footplate out there, found very rapidly that your overalls don't fit into the Ryanair size bags. So the best thing you can do when you're going out to Poland is turn up at the airport wearing your full blues, Steely's included. I don't know if you've ever felt the same sense of being a complete tit, of walking into an airport dressed as in your 1950s driver's uniform, going, oh, I'm at the wrong place. Thought I was going to be at a railway station, not at the airport. And then sitting down on the plane in your full blues going, well, this is jolly good, isn't it?
Were they at least clean?
Well, they were on the way out. You do not know. Right, we're off on a tangent already. Right. So we were out in Poland, and we went off to a museum at a place called Jarzina. And they were looking at setting up a new experience where you could go to the museum and drive the steam engine at the museum. And we were going to have a go and see what it was like, to kind of say, is this viable? So off we went to Jarzina, and lovely day. It's a great museum. They've got, I don't know, like 50 engines there, and about 30 of them are Kreisloks, and a Polish TKT 48, which is a 282 tank engine in blue as Thomas the Tank Engine. It is the least convincing, least registered Thomas I've ever seen. But anyway, so there was this 282 tank engine, the Polish class, and so we drove up and down a couple of times, and the guy was like, yeah, you know what you're doing, off you go. And we're like, So we spent the rest of the day just quite happily driving up and giving rides to the Polish tourists who were turning up. Neither me or my friend speak any Polish. Well, he speaks a few words. And so they would be like, you, right. So up and down all day. And then it came to the time that we were meant to catch our train back. So about a 2-hour journey back to our accommodation. And they went, well, you can stay here if you want. And, keep driving into the evening and crash on the floor. And we're like, more driving? Okay. So carried on for a few more hours before putting the engine to bed. Now, the important thing to go for this is this was a Saturday, which means that the next day would be Sunday, and Poland is still a very religious country. So on Sunday, everybody goes to church wearing their Sunday best. Me and my friend are now traveling back home, back to our accommodation, on a busy train, packed train. We sat down opposite this little old lady, and we are both in overalls, and we are both black, utterly, utterly filthy. And the look of absolute disgust from this little old lady. And when it came to the next station, and some people got up, she got up and moved and sat down elsewhere. And we're like, oh no. Oh dear.
Pissed off the locals.
We've upset the locals. Oh, this is actually a very poor move. But we weren't thinking of spending the night, so all we had was filthy overalls.
Yeah.
But a good museum. So if you're in the area, check out Yarozina.
Tip for everybody if you're traveling to Poland.
Mm.
Okay, so we've established that Lawrie did nothing but buy things. Rob, what about you, mate?
I ran in number 12.
I'm so glad it got there. Royal Mail really screwed us over with that.
It's only taken us 2 months to get it to where it is now.
Wow. Sorry, I've just seen Tom's comment. Like, how long have we been going? And already, wow.
Is he already throwing shade?
Wow. It's hard to think he's my best mate, isn't it?
You couldn't tell. Yeah,
Sorry,
Rob. I don't think we need to elaborate how bad Royal Mail have been.
Oh, mate.
It's just been diabolical getting that locomotive of yours fixed, and even just getting it sent back to you. It took longer to get it back to you while I was in the UK than it was you sending it to me here. That's how bad it was.
Well, if you're not mentioning it in your video, James, I will mention it in mine when I do my video when it's finished.
No, you carry on.
It does need paint. It needs a bit of a repaint and finishing off, but that'll probably be in the next 2 videos. So,
wow,
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
Wow,
it was really nice. Oh, hang on, true.
the abuse has already started. Thanks, Lars. Thanks. How long are we going? Almost a quarter of an hour of stream, and already, oh, good. Well,
well, it's fine. I told Aaron, who's a regular, to keep it chill, but it seems like you brought on the entourage who have no chill. So there you go.
The entourage is here, so
they've come for moral support, or the opposite.
They have not come for moral support at all. I can assure you, there is no moral support here. There is very much the opposite. They would like to refer to it as grounding.
Grounding.
To keep one humble. As you can tell, it hasn't worked.
Keep the chaos coming. That's what we enjoy. Keep the chaos coming. I, for one.
Oh, hi, Matt.
Who we got here? Are you expecting anything else, Lauren?
No, not really.
No, not at all. I, for one, so I was given an FDM 3D printer just before I went away, and I've spent the last week or so just playing. Honestly, just playing. I started off making, tiny little things, little boats that never worked. Let's take a look at this one. You can see his roof didn't do anything. And then I thought, go hard or go home. So I printed Gothland Signal Box.
That came out nice.
Surprisingly, it came out rather nice. So there's the camera.
Do you know, it's so much smaller than I thought it was. I've seen that in real
right?
life and from the train and thought it was full scale, but turns out it was just really small but really close.
It's really small but really close. For comparison, here is the first Ruston of the night.
I do love Little Ruston. It's so cute. How badly would I drive Marcia? I mean, I've done it before, so I really like Marcia, but I would love to do it again because I've done it a few times and I've enjoyed it. But yeah, it's done. You know, it is one of the few engines that I've actually had absolutely full regulator. Like most stuff you drive and you're being kind of gentle with it. Nice one, boss. Yeah, most kind of on a heritage railway, you don't get the opportunity to go full regulator unless you're like on the moors and going over the Alps. Marcia, I gave it everything just to get up the bank with 2 coaches and mid Suffolk. It was like it's got nothing more. Absolutely, it's wide open, like, and it's one of the very, very few engines that I've taken to absolutely maximum. And it's been like, no, this is totally acceptable. This is it has nothing else. And when I say maximum, it's not storming along. It's just going woof, 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 woof. And this is it. I can't do anything else. If we slow down, I've got nothing.
It's giving it. It's all I got, Captain.
Yeah. That was literally the cry as we were going up there. I was like, just that, and yeah.
Was it in a terrible Scottish accent?
Yeah, which is why my fireman was like,
"Whoa."
So,
fantastic. Awesome. Well, it seems like we've been up to quite a bit. If you guys have been up to any modelling, let us know in the chat, or join the Discord and get showing all of your stuff on there. If you haven't.
Do you know what I like? We are 60 minutes into this, and we haven't got past the intro.
No, it usually takes about 16 to 20 minutes just to get to this section of the news. Usually it's longer when Hilton and Dan are involved.
I'm going to respond to this comment that I've seen. Is there anything at Taliclin that I haven't driven? I haven't done 1 and I haven't done 7. And they're the 2 that I really, really, really want to do. I've been
Please do Tom Roll. I need to see that video.
Bingo cards.
Yeah!
I've not done 1, I've not done 3, and I've not done 7. I think I've done everything else. Oh, and I haven't done 5. But I've done a fair amount of them.
I've got a modeler number 5.
Oh wow! There's
that's a good question.
Which one?
That's nice.
Yeah, right.
What your Tamfield? I have driven at Tamfield, and yes, that is quite wide open as well. But 72. That's difficult. I would love to do a 72XX, but I don't like doing number 7. It's number 7. Like it's always going to. I'm an LNER boy. It's my local rail. I do love the 72XXs are just the most awkward looking machines. It's like we have an engine this big. We need more capacity. Oh yeah, now we got a bunker. That's much better. We got more space. Sorted. It's just such a bodge of a design, and I love it.
But it works.
But 7, number 7 has got to be 7. Are you looking for any more Rustons tucked away in bushes? Yes, of course. Stupid question. Of course I'm always looking for more locos because why would I need anything? Yeah. How do I pronounce Shia? I don't know. Yes, I have been over to Ireland. I went and chased a special out there. So that was good fun. I chased the 260 with the inside motion, which I want to say number 251, but I don't think that's right. But I can't remember what it is. I went to chase that, and then I've been to Downpatrick once, and I did the giant Causeway Railway ages ago when it was steam. Is that all I've done in Ireland? I think that's all I've done in Ireland. Cool. There we go.
Fantastic. See, people are already throwing their raw in, and you're just taking charge. I love it. Carry on.
I've still got more questions. 48, 88, or 165. 48, 165, and 88 in that order. The 48 is perfect. It's beautifully easy to prep. It's perfectly easy to drive. You just turn up and go, is there oil in the Xboxes? Yes. Is there oil in the engine? Yes. Right. Turn the key. Off it goes. No air, nothing. So it's just in the time it takes to prep the 88 or the 165, because they're both air start, the 48 can be turned on and have done the shunt that you need to do and be parked up before you even get to start one of the big ones. Then the 165 is great. It's a perfect industrial shunter. It will do everything you need on a heritage railway shunting wise. And then the 88 is just a pig to drive, and I don't actually enjoy driving them. The 48 beautifully easy. The 165 is air operated, so it's just shift into gear, and it's automatic clutch. It's lovely. Just go first gear, take the revs up, second gear, drop the revs, take the revs up, third gear, drop the revs. Whereas the 88 is take it up, clutch out, change gear, clutch back in, drop the revs. No, yeah. Clutch out, drop the revs, clutch back in. It's just so much more awkward.
I remember
Yeah.
James May trying to explain an engine on Top Gear, and that's exactly how it sounded to me when I first watched it. Just
It's so it's awful. If I could own and operate a tank engine, what would you want to have? I want a Barclay. I want a Barclay tank. That's what I
Barclay?
want.
Oh,
That's not a
probably,
Barclay.
I don't know. No, this isn't a Barclay. This is something nice. No,
I mean,
it's
I
not.
do like Judy. The first time I saw the Porter Parr twins, they were at the Lavender Line, and I was going down to Somerset with my mum because she loves Somerset and I like the West Somerset Railway, so it's a great kind of. She goes for walks at the hills, and I go to the railway, and then we kind of meet up in the evening, have a meal, and rinse and repeat. And I went, look, I want to go via the Lavender Line because I want to see the Porter Parr twins, and I've never seen them. She's like, okay, but I don't want to be there long because I want to go for a walk. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. So we go look at them, take some photos, and then I start chatting to the guys, and they went, oh, do you want to come for a trip on the footplate? And I'm like, yes. And I want to go on Alfred because my middle name's Alfred, so I want to go onto Alfred. So my mother appears onto the platform to be like, where the hell are you? We're meant to be going. And all she sees is the whistle go, the guard wave his flag, and my head just go out of the top of the cab of Alfred. And I could see her mouth. It was wonderful. Just that lovely thing. Bye-bye. So, yes.
Wow, that's an experience. I think I'd love to go on. Any footplate at the moment would be great, but I think a bucket list for me would be one of the Porter Parrs for sure. They're just iconic. I just love the look. I love the fit. Like, they're great, and they're my size. I'm tiny. They're my size.
They are just glorious. Oh God, I missed questions.
I'm gonna push us forward, and we'll come back to questions because we will be talking about locomotives, your locomotives, etc.
There's many questions.
I know. I'm starring them, and I'm trying to save them as quick as I can. Don't worry. I'm trying my best. But we do have to get on. I know, guys, sorry, but we have to stick to a thing. When we get past the introductory bit, then we can start with the proper chaos. So, we have to talk about the news. Hilton is throwing his hands. He's throwing his hands up in the air as we speak. Now, I know there's been quite a bit going on in the world. Rob, what are these?
They are class 45s and 46s, I believe.
Which are lesser to a 48.
And 44s and 45s. I don't know. They're peaks either way. But they're the Rapido N-gauge ones that they've now had decorated samples for. And are on their way to stockists, I believe. Dan could probably correct me there.
That's a bit early, isn't it? If they've just got deco samples.
I don't know.
Anyway, if you want them, 123.20 DCC ready, 212.45 DCC sound fitted at your retailers. Some of them might be discounting more than others. And 3 guesses where all of today's pictures have come from.
We're not sponsored by them.
Please. Next, we have the Dapol LMS Iva 262Ts. They're more deco samples. I think these look great, especially the KWVRs.
I was just going to say I don't like it.
I don't know.
It looks like a toy train. It looks. I know it's a real thing. It just looks like a toy train.
Yeah, I get that.
I tell you what, for what you're getting, £110 isn't bad either for DC ready for an N-gauge large tank engine. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm a bit biased against BR Black, but this LMS in white is triggering me, and I don't know why.
The LMS looks in the wrong place.
Yeah, and also the S looks like it's slightly tilted.
I'll be honest, the British Railways as well is upsetting me because I generally love the early British Railway livery of, what are we going to do? Don't know. Have we got a logo? I don't know. What should we do? British Railways. Yeah, done. But the fact that it's not level with the... it surely should be in line with the number. Don't like.
Yeah, I know the feeling. But yeah, anyway, so 110 DCC ready, 148 DCC fitted.
Also, thank you for clearing that up, Nick. That's wonderful. That's exactly what we all needed to clear up that confusion.
It's perfect. I really could you do it phonetically in the chat for us, please, so everybody can know.
Well, I mean, I don't think we need that. He's cleared it up, hasn't he?
It's clearly Dapple. Next, there's some O-Gauge news. Rob?
Yes.
That's a very funny looking Dapple LMS Ivert.
It is. It's not an Ivert. This is what happens when you try and do a million things at once.
These are the final decorated samples from Haljan for their new Class 153s, and I must say they look absolutely amazing. The price does not. £340 DCC fitted, or 442 if you're getting it from a certain retailer, or probably looking at like 470 anywhere else with DCC sound fitted. But this is the first locomotive that Haljan are actually releasing which is able to be sound fitted from the get-go, because no other model from Haljan has even been DCC ready. DCC ready off the bat. This is the first one.
I like them. Do you know what? When they if I really want them to do what they've done with the Pacers and be like, it's free if you can have one, and I will get myself a 153, because that's the side of my childhood, is the one that they ran on the railway behind my mum's, like it's the other side of the field, and just the whir and going through the gears. I want a 153. That's just, at some point I shall have a 153.
I still hear those quite often coming down the Wales and Borders branch towards Birmingham. These things, because they still run 158s and 153s, so it does sound quite nice when they're coming around and they're powering through Telford Central. Though
I was up chasing the Jacobite last year. We were chatting to the crew, and we ended up going for dinner, and had to take the train to go for dinner. They said, "Oh, do you want to come for a ride on the train tomorrow?" And I'm like, no, I'd rather photo it. Like, if I'm going for a ride on something, I want to go on the 156s that they ran in trains before. And he's like, I'm sorry, I don't think we can be friends anymore if you'd rather ride one of these than ride behind the steam engine. I'm like, no. This is the sound of my childhood. This takes me back. The steam, I'm going to chase it and get lots of nice pictures of it. And the guy, I've never felt like so. I was always really felt out of class, because that's a mainline steam driver who's just been like, we can't talk anymore. Anyway, I'll shut up.
There's just something charming about the old dog boxes, isn't there? They're just amazing bits of kit to an extent.
Yes, we can, Damien. Yes, we can.
Challenge accepted. So if you want one of these in O, it's $339.15 DCC fitted and $441.15 DCC sound fitted at the retailers. Have I got this one wrong? Rob, what are these?
Right. This is from a manufacturer that no one will know about, which I've only just become aware of because these popped up on my Facebook feed. These are Iconic Rail Glyn Valley Tramway coaches, and they do these in both the open and the closed variant, as you can see on the right-hand picture there. And these have just been released. They're £35 a coach, which I think is really good for something that's I think these are ready to run as well. If they're kit forms, it's still really good value. I might be getting one or two of these. I'm trying to talk them into letting me have a sample to open for the channel and build for it. But probably the standout thing that drew me to Iconic Rail is that they are currently
because they're iconic
building.
It's because they're very iconic.
Let me get there. All right, just let me cook. They have got an NG7 Falcon coming, ready to run Falcon, and it's based on the new Chorus Falcon as well, which is awesome.
It is.
So we know what you're getting.
I'm hoping so. Yes.
Just so you guys know that this is the body is injection molded. And the body itself is 3D printed with additional details. So it will be ready to run. But they're still in the process of finalizing options. But it looks like it's going to be liveryless, but they do look good for sure. So Rob's one is going to scream. It's
a needed addition to the NG7 range, because as we were talking about this before the stream, that there is pretty much nothing in ready to run in NG7 in the greater scheme of things. So having things like this, awesome. And hopefully it brings attention to these little manufacturers as well.
It's like 009 used to be. Like, if you wanted to do 009, you had to scratch build or kit build, and then suddenly all of this stuff has hit the market ready to run, which is lovely for somebody who's absolutely skillless like me. But now you're back into these kind of exciting wild waters of, well, there's nothing available.
Yeah, it's up to these little manufacturers to try and bring NG7 towards where 009 is, because at the moment the bigger retailers don't seem bothered by it, apart from Bachman that released something a year ago and has given us nothing else since. So hopefully the iconic rail can help nudge them in the right direction and say, look, there's competition here, come at us.
Can we go on a tangent to talk about TT?
If we have to.
Why is TT a thing?
Oh,
Oh no! Where's Peachy?
no,
Where's SBJ?
I don't
Like
think-
Peachy, me and Peachy have had a long discussion about this, particularly the fact that if you're going to launch a range, surely you launch a range where you can have models of the same range together, rather than I'm just going to cherry pick stuff from all over the place. Surely it's like, let us do a British Railway Steam in the 1960s, where you can have all regions with the same kind of stock and it will all work, and then modern day private stuff. So you could do the two things rather than, hey, because I pre-ordered the starter set of the little B4, but the only Terrier that they do that's in the same livery is one of the Isle of Wight ones, so it doesn't go together.
Yeah, we've had this discussion many times in the chat, and we have varying opinions amongst us. I still think they're getting better, but I think the launch itself was diabolical.
I want to model the LNEL. What are my options? Oh, I have an A4 with Pullmans. What else do I have?
It's
Nothing.
Hornby's bread and butter. They know it. They knew it was going to sell, and that's how they wanted to kick off a range. Now, personally, I think we've all agreed that they should have done the Terrier earlier, or they should have launched a Pannier. But no.
Small engines make sense, but I have no experience with the magic couplings, and I'm excited to find out what happens with the magic couplings. Like, can I do a tiny shunting layout in TT? I don't know, because that in my head,
That would be nice.
I'd like the Terrier, and the Terrier runs past with the nice coaches, and he shunt stuff with the B4. Can I do that? I don't know.
Damien there, only exists because Hornby didn't want competition. And look how that happened.
Helgen's now relaunched it, haven't they? They're now doing TT again.
Yes, Helgen. I think Pico came in not long after with accessories and stuff like that.
Pico actually released the first GWR thing for TT as well. They released a wagon.
Oh.
Just what everyone needs.
There is a Great Western thing available. You just need to use the superior kind of TT, and that is the Trying TT, which is absolutely superb. And as I have told Peachy TT on many occasions, that is the superior form of TT, where the models are proper good, and that old triangle, running quality, like this, obviously flawless. And when you know something's running because it smokes, you can smell it.
It's not supposed to, but it does.
But it does.
Oh, look, that's got a smoke unit. Wait a minute.
Have you seen the haul that they did for the Trying one? It's just wrong. So if you do a Google and have a look for the Trying TT Great Western, I'm sure it's the haul. The firebox is not the right size. It kind of fits over the motor, and we kind of improvise, and it's wonderful. That's not right. Anyway, carry on. I'll shut up.
I'll have a look for that at some point, and we can go from there. But you're not the only one who has reservations.
Castle, that's it. Castle, not a hall.
And Tom's given Peachy a link to the stream as well, so you can have an argument on your hands soon, Lawrie.
That's fine. More audience. Bring them on.
Everybody send a link to their friends.
Cool.
Hoovers.
Right, moving up to more. We've got some. Are they Hoovers? I don't know what they are. They're Class 50s. Batch 2 from Akira Scale is on the way. They've got some more liveries coming. So you've got Lyra Blue, BR Blue, revised NSE, which I think looks rather nice. And I think that's been like one of the most requested liveries as well. And then, of course, BR large logo blue. Expected Q4 of next year, although, going by all the stuff getting pushed back, think about 2027. And you're looking at $189.99 or $299.99 with sound. So if Class 50 is your thing and you didn't get one from the first batch, there's another one coming.
They do look very pretty.
NSC just looks specifically amazing on a Class 50.
Yeah,
just
I really like it.
It's got
Well,
to be
my
large
wallet's-
logo for me.
I do like large logo, but I'm not
Anything
a diesel guy.
in Network Southeast just looks good though.
Yeah.
And I am yet to find something that wears that livery that doesn't look. Ooh.
Mm. If you know
it stands out from all the other blue
NSC,
liveries.
That's the thing. I think that's the reason it's so. I think it's quite popular, especially in the south, because that's where it was. But it just looks appealing. Reminds me of toothpaste.
Tom's just said it. Ruston 48 in NSC would look great.
SBJ, make it happen.
Would.
Make it happen. I'll send you mine.
I was told from the MIDI when my 48 was there, because I started talking about painting it into City Swallow livery, and I was told that if I did it into City, because they've done a Sentinels in that now, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
And I was told, yes, if I do that, I will. It will be kicked out.
Not good. Oliver's saying the Class 08 in NSE doesn't look great. Matt's saying the Class
The 03 looks great. Oh no, I disagree. I think the 03 looks good.
03 looks absolutely amazing in NSE. But
the
we can all agree that Intercity Swallow looks good on any locomotive at all, even an A4.
So far.
Oh, that cursed image.
Yeah.
Swiftly moving on. We have the Sonic models. Sonic models and Rail of Sheffield have shown livery artworks for the LBSCRK class. I mean, it's a mogul. It looks really good, actually.
I really want this. I think that looks absolutely stunning.
I think the malachite green might be my favorite livery. I wasn't going to put all of the liveries up on this slide, so if you want to have a look at it, go and have a look at the Rails of Sheffield website. They've got some decent photos of it there. I think the model itself looks grand, and I can't wait to see what they look like when they get decorated. Yeah, 179.95 to 189.95, depending on which version you get. And they've got 2 running numbers in BR Lake Crest for some reason. So 1 in everything else and 2 in Lake Crest.
Wow.
Firing shots.
Oh, thank you, Tom.
Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes,
please.
like and subscribe. Join the Discord as well if you want to, or if you do that kind of thing. We do have some chats over there as well. And also, the Shunters Hut is open after the stream, so you can come and talk nuts about us after there.
So, going back to this and actually bring this back onto the topic, I know, right? do we have any experience with Sonic models? Because they've done the A5, haven't they? And I know one person who's got one, but I've never seen it run. So do we know if this is any good?
I did have the N-Gauge 5600, and it was a very good model.
Okay, because I'm excited, because I would love the A5. I really want one of the one that was just on the next page. But I've got one of the Rails exclusive D-Class. Or is it the D1? No, the D1. And it is the single weakest thing I've ever come across. Oh. It struggles with 3 coaches on the modular. Absolutely. It's got no pulling power whatsoever. So I hope this one as an exclusive Rails thing is significantly better.
Well, considering the way that the Hatton's A4 went with halogen, I wouldn't put your hopes up on a shop actually pushing the manufacturing to be really good.
I hope this is. I mean, it looks like it should be good, but it doesn't. Do we know if it's die-cast or is it all plastic?
I couldn't tell you, but it looks.
I mean, it looks like it's got buffers that are metal, which clearly are going to give it all the extra weight. Oh, I know.
Well,
I know they're different companies, but it's just when it's an exclusive by Rails.
The boiler looks 3D printed.
I'm going to move over.
Look at them.
Look at them.
I want the LNER green one. That does things to me at a spiritual level.
It does look good. It does look good. I can vouch for that. So yeah, there are new decorated samples of the second batch, I believe. Also, similar pricing, which is strange. But if you want one, go and get one. Dan vouches for them apparently.
Didn't they tweak
Rails have
them
no
slightly?
hands.
These, I'm sure I read somewhere there was a slight tweak to the design here. Some bogey tweak or something.
I am not sure, honestly. Dan, was there a bogey tweak? Help us in spirit. While you're waiting for that, we'll move on. Hi, Benton Builds. Thank you very much for joining us. The North Bay Railway fan as well. Thank you very much. It's lovely to see you guys here. Thank you if you've all joined, but haven't said anything in the chat. Join the chat and let us know you're here. The Clark Railworks Prestwin Hoffers look really good.
I can guarantee they're going to be the best bits of rolling stock on your layout if you get them.
Well, I would if they weren't just out of era. I might have to rule one this purchase.
Oh, that price though.
But it's 120 for a triple pack.
Oh, that's what I expect to pay for a loco, and I know I'm behind the times with that. But
the thing is with Alice Clark. Let me just put in the perspective how good they are. You got your Hornby and Bachman kind of level, yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Then you got your Acura scale and your Rapido level, probably about level. Dan's going to absolutely kick the crap out of me for that. And then there's Alice Clark right at the top. Their O gauge offerings are second to none.
I've got a set of the quad sets from Alice Clark up there, and they are stunning and beautiful. But allow me to counter your argument with locomotive. And this is my big problem. As much as I appreciate you do need stock to go with that locomotive, and that's quite important, I struggle when stock is a similar price as the locomotive.
Yep.
Because I'm like, I like having the locomotive. I've got a nice rolling road here where I can appreciate a locomotive. And I'll be honest, having tried it, if you put stock on the rolling road, not much happens.
It just sits there.
Yeah, it's just really not that exciting at all.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
No, I completely understand. I think it's very niche price range.
I mean, they are stunning. I mean, the detail across the top of them looks phenomenal. This has always been my problem though. And also 3's not enough, is it? Like realistically, what a train of those you need minimum of 12, 15.
Yep. That's a bank breaking amount.
That's obscene, isn't it? Like that's well, let's go buy a loco.
I think I would rather buy locos, but I'm getting told off for doing that. So
wow, Damien,
you could buy several currently on offer O gauge class 37s for the price of 12 of those.
I mean, recently on TMC, shout out to my friends at TMC, you could buy a Ruston 48 for less than that set in O gauge. So not only the gentleman's superior scale, a superior locomotive. Yeah, they had the 48s on sale for 119 of your pounds, which is cheaper than that free set.
I can't believe other shops are getting a shout out.
How dare we? You're ruining our chances of a sponsorship.
Can I share my affiliate link? Can I do that?
You carry on, mate. You carry on.
We're not sponsored.
Right. No.
Can I answer
you
this
do it.
I want Hawthorne.
Hang on. Which one? Speaking of locos.
Yes. The G5. I think it's actually really good. I think it's very expensive, but it is currently on sale, and I'd buy them on sale. It's a stunning model. It's really, really nice. So, I would, because that's the TMC exclusive, and I don't have to have one. I got sent one, and I'm honestly tempted to get another one because that's how good they are. Going on to these things, I don't normally like their fictional liveries, but I'm going to order Hawthorne because that's brilliant.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a consensus there. I think it looks great. I would love one as well. I couldn't justify it right now, and I will hope to God I can find one in the future. But yeah, 127.45 and 220.95, not bad.
Dear Mr. Rapido, I am.
That's only 17.
Please send me one.
That's only £17 more than those wagons.
Yeah.
Better
Do you see my problem here? This is my problem. It's like I appreciate I need the wagons to shunt with the locomotive,
Yep,
but
yep,
also
locomotive. No, I completely get that. Dan, none of us are jealous at all, my friend. At all. So there you are. The L class. And then the T3
Oh, yes.
samples came through as well, or Samles, as I've
Isn't it a
misspelled
dangerous
there.
time to be a model railway enthusiast?
Well, so this is the funny thing, you know. So we usually people attribute summer as the down period because, of course, you're outside doing other things, or you're working, or you're going on holiday, and you're not really focusing on your models. And I seem to remember in the past few years that very little was announced or shown during those summer weeks, and suddenly it's going nuts.
I remember when I was young 20s, maybe my late teens. It was like Hornby were like, here are the 4 engines we're going to do this year. It's the 01, was it? The 01. We're doing the 42XX, the 52XX, and the 72XX. Those are your 4 new locos. And back when we were like, hey, we've got a million things we're going to do, but they're about 3 years down the line. And that was your announcement. There wasn't anybody else. And now we've got the Sonic, Plant Industrials, a Rapido, a Curascale, Hornby Bachmann, who else am I forgetting? A Dapol back in the market, and a handful of others. And it's like, I mean, I don't have enough money to start off with, but
you're bombarded these days, aren't you? With
so
new announcements and releases.
That is so I want that in the Olive. That's
yeah. No, they do look great. I'm not usually a southern boy, but
I like 4 rows.
Yeah, I agree. No, I can't get tempted. I can't have one. Moving swiftly on. But if you want one, 169.95 DCC ready at the retailers. I didn't see a sound option. So correct me if I'm wrong if they're not doing if they are doing a sound fitted version. I couldn't find it.
Because I'm correct, EFE are Bachmann's other brand, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the D1 is Bachmann's, isn't it? So this looks dangerously light like the D1 because it's about the same size. So I have the same concerns I have with the D1 being impossible to move anything with this because unless it's die cast and heavy, it will just be like, I've got a coach.
Nick, I know your pain, even though I model Steam. Dan says sound exclusive at Kerno. That's
Is
a bit of a...
Is the D1 Dapol? Is it Dapol? He says.
Yeah, he's at D1 is Dapol. There you are.
Is it? He says. Am I thinking of the...
Have you found it?
I found the box, but I can't... Yes, it is Dapol. That's
Okay,
the Dapol
there you are.
code. Well, we'll find out.
And I believe that's it. That's it for the news, everybody.
Well, good. Well, we're an hour in, and the intro is almost done. Good.
This is good. No,
we're almost an hour in.
It's been great. So now we can move on to the fun bit. I'm going to get rid of this because we don't need that anymore.
Are you saying the fun hasn't begun? Well,
no. This is where the fun begins. That's the line. So today my thing has gone out of focus. Apparently my camera is drunk.
That's fine.
You've got his beer goggles on now.
We'll just work with this. There you go. There we are. I'm back. So today we wanted to talk about heritage railways and modelling heritage railways because we try and stick to topic on the shunting yard.
Do we?
We try. You're doing very well. You're doing very well with this, Lawrie. So thank you very much.
You're blending right into the team.
So we came up with a few questions around this topic specifically for Lawrie, a few for all of us to discuss, and then also we're going to take in some of your questions as well, and we'll just see how long this goes until we get bored or drunk or fall asleep. How does that sound, lads?
These are the questions that you gave me in advance, and then I didn't save the document, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That
cool.
I resent you. You.
Yeah, the ones that I was meant to have a look at to come up with answers to, and promptly, lost it. Good.
So yes. Are we ready? I'm not.
Ready.
Are you ready? Okay. So, where did your railway journey begin? And we'll extend that. We'll also include that as modelling.
I mean, generally
well.
at a station. That's where it starts, isn't it? I have absolutely no idea. So the story goes that when I was 2, my mum took me past the local post office in which I saw Edward from Thomas the Tank Engine. And from that, the obsession began. And it's always been an obsession. There's nobody else in my family that's got any real obsession. My uncle is a train spotter, and he train spots modern traction, but he has no interest in heritage. Nobody else in my family is into mechanics, fixing things, railways. So I'm a complete black sheep in this regard. And so it's always been the obsession. So, yeah. And then I think since you're into railways, I got, no, all right, this will take you back. This dates me because you young'uns don't know what you're, don't know anything about how we had it when I was a young lad. But do you remember the Hornby starter set with the bright red locomotive with the blue wheels and the yellow smokebox door? Very much a Hornby toy. So this thing came in a set that the station was your battery controller, and it had a car park tunnel which clipped together, and the whole set folded together, so it was a portable play set. And I'd had Duplo before that. I've had Duplo for as long as I can remember, and I wanted to upgrade onto this thing. And I remember that's what I wanted for Christmas, and that was the best Christmas ever because I got this train set. And then it's kind of spiraled. Then I did it for many, many years and enjoyed it. And had a board that my mum helped build when I was young in the bedroom, which was just an oval of track. And then, 1995 indeed, actually, yes, it was. And then I got out of the hobby after a bit, took up the model railway. And I was browsing some catalogue in my middle teens, and there was the Flying Scotsman set, and with kind of enough to make 2 ovals of track. And I don't know what it was because I've been I hadn't really done any model railwaying at all, gone to a couple of shows, and something just went, you need that. And I was like, I want this for Christmas. And I'm like, really? You want to get back into Australia? Yeah, I don't know. And it's just since then it spiraled badly.
That's how you how do you define badly?
I've lost count of how many things I have. I think that's badly. I have to have a spreadsheet between what's here at my house and what I've got stored at my mum's. There is a spreadsheet to calculate where stuff is. And there's no more space.
I can't do it. No, I couldn't spreadsheet. No, I'd have to have photos on the wall reminding me constantly what is mine.
I did my eBay mistake the other day and bought myself a Airfix 4F because I was like, this is nice, and then realised I already have it.
Well, now you have 2.
Yes, one's going off to TMC to be renumbered.
Tom says it's about the same time as the Thomas and Bertie race set. I'm sure they did a Thomas version of the same set.
Did they? Oh, I don't remember that. I just remember this. And then, of course, what was my next locomotive that I bought? It was Smokey Joe.
Yay!
Oh, obviously.
Proper pocket rocket.
Which is over there. I still got my Smokey Joe.
Love that.
So, absolutely fantastic. And then it's kind of spiraled. And then the evolution to 1-to-1 scale. Well, I mean, you do a bit of 00, you might dabble in N, but it's a bit fiddly. You might even go to Z or something. Then you might dabble in TT, and you might dabble in 009. And then you go over to O gauge, which is obviously the superior scale. And then from O gauge, 3.5 inch, that's the next logical step. And then from 3.5 inch, you just go to 1-to-1 scale, which just, the detail when you hit 1-to-1 scale, it's just phenomenal. The rust actually looks like rust, and and the sound chips they've got fitted to them now are superb. You just can't distinguish them from the real thing.
Well, I think that then rolls on to the next question we have here: is what inspired you to buy the Ruston 48? Was it the model? Was it having this tiny thing and then going, hang on, I could get one of those myself?
Yeah, it's a bit of that. So I'd been kind of looking and playing with the idea of having a locomotive myself for a while. I'd seen a 165 for sale and been like, I could do this. And I appreciate that you could join a group and you could be part of a locomotive owning group, but I kind of want to say no, this is my locomotive, and thus I wanted something that was small enough that I could work on my own. And that if you buy a class 50 or something, you need a team. You have a 37, you need a team. You can't realistically do that on your own. So I wanted something small enough, which was, if I didn't have people come through, I could have as my loco and something that I could work off. And this was before LMM, so I couldn't reach out to the community because there was no community. And so I'd kind of been poking around and looking online and the kind of various places where locomotives are for sale. And I was aware of the Ruston 48 being the only diesel locomotive that ever ran on the original Mid-Suffolk Light Railway. One of those was used for the demolition train, which is hilarious because mine struggles pulling 3 wagons up the gradient. So how on earth this thing managed to do the demolition train, I have no idea. But so I'd kind of been looking for a while, and then one came up in Traction Notes, like a tiny 2-page thing of Ruston 48DS for sale, contact for more details. And so I have been tempted to put the 48 in the shed. That was always an option.
Good idea.
So I messaged these guys, and it was the one known as the Gower Princess. And they came back and said, yeah, it's for sale. Yeah, it's available. And I went, right, cool. Asked all the normal questions. Does it run? What does it need? Why are you selling? Etc. etc. And I think it was being sold because the owner had passed away, and they were now just trying to get rid of it. And they go, yeah, it runs fine. It's got no battery, so you have to bump start it, but it's fine. So I went, look, I'll be honest with you. I'm working on a film. I'm not going to be done for at least another month, and then I go straight into another film. So as soon as I can come to look at it, it will be December. But I spoke to the railway. We can come down first weekend of December and have a look at it. If it's as you say it is, and there's nothing else wrong with it, and you've been honest, done deal. I'll pay a deposit now, but consider it sold. He went, yeah, great, okay, consider it sold. And then I got an email 3 days later going, I've sold it to somebody else. I was like, So I then got the idea of 48 into my head because small, very cute, and appropriate for Mid-Suffolk. And at the Mid-Suffolk Light Railway, we only have rolling stock that's appropriate for the railway, and diesels at the time was a diesel appropriate. So we have a Ruston 165 because there was a 48 on the line, and that was kind of like stretching it. But I felt that I'd love to have a 48, and particularly as we were working on the extension and trying to get our extension built, I love the idea of having a Ruston 48 to help put the extension back down to undo the damage that one of its classmates did. So I started looking for 48s, and I started off, and I want to go, do not do this. I started emailing railways going, hello, do you have Ruston 48? Do you want to sell it? Don't do that. That's because the email that comes back is no. So I fired off a couple of emails to places where I knew there was one that was knackered, like the Chasewater Railway, where I'd seen one that was sat in poor condition, which I'm glad I didn't get because it's now owned by my mate Jay, and he is doing a nut and bolt restoration on it. When it comes back into service, it fired up the other day to run. It is going to be the best it's going to be better than when it left the factory. He's doing a beautiful job that makes me very upset because mine won't be that good. So, and there's one, the Red Rose? There's Museum up north that's got one. And they went, oh no, it's important to the local area. We don't want to. So I kind of lost faith in it for a little bit. And then I was working on the Detectorists for the BBC as a driver. And some days, super busy. And some days was just like, I was I don't know if you may be too young. I was Dame Diana Riggs driver before that.
Oh.
So that was and she was like, what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, oh, off drive a steam engine. And she was fascinated. So we had a great chat about stuff like that. Also, just on such thing, Mackenzie Crook, one of the, because he is definitely B-list actor now. Mm-hmm. So I turned up to this. I'd worked on the end of season 2, and I got invited back for season 3. And I turned up on it, and, he comes out and says, oh, Lawrie, it's really good to see you again. Shakes your hand, like this guy who's working on proper films. And, I've just turned up again and nobody. And and that's class. He remembers who you are, comes up, shakes your hand. That's a lot of time for Mackenzie Crook. Anyway, so some days super busy, and some days we're literally, you're her driver, you pick her up, you drive her in and drop her off, and that's it. And then you sit and wait for her to be finished to take her home. So I read a couple of novels and then did a lot of browsing on the phone, and then realized that I could do something constructive. So I had the list from the Industrial Locomotive Society of Ruston 48s of where they all were, but it was about 15 years out of date. So I decided I'd update it. So railways respond a lot better when you go, "Dear Sir or Madam, I'm updating the list to Ruston 48s because the list is 15 years out of date, and it lists that this locomotive is at your railway. If it is, could you please advise if it is still in working condition, and if it's moved on, could you please let me know where it's gone?" Very good. So I went through and found out, I think 5 of them are now been scrapped. One of them, the museum that it was at, just doesn't exist. You Google it, and Google's like, "That's not a museum." Don't know. A couple of them just can't get a response. There's 2 at a nuclear power plant that's being decommissioned. They won't tell you if they're 99% sure they're still there, but you can't get a response from them.
They won't tell you. It doesn't exist.
Yeah. So I just started, emailing, going through the list, and I got to 266 and emailed the info at Fawley Hill, just with the same thing, and I got a response from Sir William McAlpine, and it pops up in your inbox and like, Sir William McAlpine. Yeah, I was out to dinner with a mate of mine with JM on Cars, and I got the email, and I read it. And it's like, "Dear Lawrence, thank you very much for your inquiry. Yes, I still have 294266. She's in full working condition. I would be very interested in a updated copy of your list once you've completed it. And it's good to see people taking it, blah, blah, blah. And if on your investigations you find anybody who's looking to purchase a Ruston 48, mine is up for disposal." And I was like, did a lap of excitement running around the table, like, ah! And so, "Dear Sir William, how lovely to you. I must confess, the reason that I have started doing this is I would like to have a Ruston 48. I'm a volunteer at Mid-Suffolk. It'd be appropriate to have one. Blah, blah, blah. How much you're thinking?" And so Sir William came back with a price, and I went, "When can I come look at it?" So we arranged a date, and we went down to look at this little thing. And there it was. And I fell in love with it. It was like, yes.
Can't not.
So no battery on it. So we stole a battery from the car, put it on, doesn't want to go. So then in the end, he started up one of his old Land Rovers, brought his Land Rover over, and we had that connected. The car we had brought us down connected, and this old battery all connected up with a load of jump cables. I kept turning it over, and I don't know how to start a Ruston 48, hadn't got a clue. And it's got a decompressor, so we're like, is this compression? Is that compression? Is this? And kept going, and it just, after, I don't know, 15 minutes of mucking around, it coughed a few times, and it went. Now, I should preface this with, we'd been told we had to arrive in the morning to do this because in the afternoon they were hosting a wedding reception. We've now started the 48 and we are all very excited. And for those of you who weren't lucky enough to meet Sir William, despite the fact he was Sir William McAlpine, he was just an enthusiast. So once the 48 had started, he was excited as the rest of us and was literally bouncing us. "Oh, it's running. This is really good, lads. Oh, this is fantastic." "Well, you got it started. You got to take it for a drive, haven't you?" So we're like, he's like, "Do you know how to drive one?" I'm like, "No, I know how to drive one. I've driven the narrow gauge. It's the same thing. I just wasn't sure how to start this particular one with." So off we go. So Fawley Hill, for those of you who haven't visited, has firstly a very steep gradient of 1 in 13, which is insane because you turn up the place, clearly I'm in the wrong place because nobody built a railway here, but
right.
Yes, they have. But the shed area is a level bit all in the ground. It's all basically tramway. So we're shunting up and down the 48 being like, "Isn't this wonderful?" as the wedding guests are driving down because that's the main way to get to where the wedding's being held. So we're stopping and letting cars go and everybody's like, "Oh, this is very nice." And so William's very happy. I'm very happy. And then in one of the golf carts that they use to get around their site, Judy turns up, Lady McAlpine, who goes, "William, will you stop playing trains? We have guests arriving." And so William, me, the Loco Super, and my 2 friends who work on diesels all went, "We're really sorry, Lady McAlpine. We'll put it away right away, Lady McAlpine." And so we parked up the 48, and all very happy. And then the Loco Super sidled up to me and went, "Just so you know, I've spoken to him, and he wants a lot more money than what you said he wanted." And I'm like, "Oh." Like I can afford to pay what he'd said, get it home, and have a bit left over to restore it. But
yeah,
I've got nothing. So they go, "Right, time to go. We disappear." So me and Sir William go into the shed to have a discussion. I went, "So I hear you want more money for it than what you said." He went, "Well, I've had it revalued, and I think I want X for it." And I went, "Yeah, that's fair enough for a working locomotive. I'm really sorry, Sir William. I can't afford that. I'm sorry for wasting your time, but thank you so much for a day. Like, it's been such a pleasure to meet you. You've been a childhood hero of mine. It's been a proper honour. thank you for the time. I really hope you have good luck with the sale. And thank you very much. And he went, well, you are a nice lad. How about I see you in the middle? I went, Sir William, I am truly touched by the fact that you've made this offer to me. But I just don't have that money. I'm really sorry. And thank you so much. Please don't think that I'm being rude for saying no. I thank you. That's honestly one of the nicest things anybody's ever done. Thank you so much. I can't do that. By the time I've got it home, I've repainted it, I've serviced it and got it, and checked everything, got a bit of money to sort out the stuff. I won't have anything left. I just don't have the money, but thank you. And he said, well, it will be looked after in its new home, won't it? And I was like, oh, so William, it'd be wonderful. It'd be a lovely thing to have, a big part of the railway. It'd be wonderful to have it in the mid-Suffolk, where, it could be part of the history of the line. And, how wonderful it'd be to tell that tale. And he went, well, you are a nice lad, aren't you? And shook my hand. And I was like, so I went back to the car. And I said, thank you, so lovely to meet you. I'll go. Got back in the car and they're like, what happened? What happened? I'm like, oh, you wanted this for it. And they went, no, that's fair. But you offered to meet me in the middle. And they were like, well, did you take it? And I was like, well, I don't have that money. I'm like, you idiot, we'd have given you the money to get that. That was a steal. I'm like, yeah, I think I shook his hand. Like, what for? I'm like, I think I bought it for this. And they're like, how? I'm like, I had to send an email and they say, dear Sir William, thank you so much for having us. Just to confirm what went down, I believe I bought the Could I possibly send you a check just to act as a deposit? And he came back and went, no, there's no need. We've shaken on it. We are gentlemen after all. You don't need to send a deposit. Dear Sir William, I feel for my own excitement, I must send you a check. I must do this.
So you weren't just having a fever dream?
No, so that's how me, a complete idiot, managed to barter with the powerhouse of Sir William McAlpine, who should have completely outclassed me. Who just went, you are a nice lad, and that's how I acquired a 48. I
tell you what, it's amazing that he bestowed that confidence in you to bring that locomotive somewhere it's going to be looked after. And this year, it's going to be the biggest railway event in the last 100 years of railways.
I think it's the biggest gathering of railway vehicles ever, and I love the fact that he's going to be in it. Like, he's gone now.
He'd bloody love it, wouldn't he?
Oh, he would love it, and I think he, from the gentleman that I met, I think he would be absolutely over the moon that a tiny little locomotive that bears his name is going. I think that would just tickle him. And
the locomotive that bared his name is going to meet the locomotive that he saved.
Yes,
Flying Scotsman.
Again. It's done it before.
Again?
Yeah,
really?
The 48 was based at Steamtown when Scotsman was there, Pendennis was there, Sir Nigel Gresley was there, and they used it as the work shunter for a little bit. So nobody can tell me if it has actually shunted Scotsman, but it was there and was used at the same time Scotsman was there. So, and then when Sir William sold out of Steamtown, it left with him. So, I love the fact that he's going in a small way, and that just makes me really happy that he's still going.
That's awesome.
I'm so excited over it. I am so absolutely. It's a stupid thing to be going, but it's really important that it goes. A stupid little tiny thing. And the nicest thing about the whole was it turns out he quite liked me, as you probably guessed from the fact he gave me a loco. Well, I didn't give, but effectively did for that price. And so I'm still, I still have correspondence with Judy McAlpine, and after he passed, we sent him the video of it and of it being moved when he was in the hospital and it arriving at its first run at Mid-Suffolk. And so I had correspondence, and I got invited to the wake after his funeral, which was quite an honour to be invited to. And the most amazing thing was it ran over. It ran over by hours because people all had these stories to tell. And the most amazing thing was all the stories of all these people who had met him and interacted with him. They painted the same story as the man that I'd met. He was an enthusiast. He was a rail enthusiast, not a hoity-toity lord or anything. He was a rail enthusiast who loved railways. I mean, he could make it do stuff, make stuff happen and be. But he was at the base of it a really nice rail enthusiast who the title didn't mean anything. He was a rail enthusiast, and all the stories confirmed this still the man that I met, and that was glorious. Also, was the fact that I sat there and listening to these stories, being like, "This is incredible! I can't believe I got invited to this man's to the wake." And next door to me, I'm like, Hey Neil, the guy next door to me looks like Bill Bailey. It's Bill Bailey! And that's how I got to meet Bill Bailey, who turns out it's a railway enthusiast and a really nice guy.
That's amazing.
Like one of the guys that you meet who is exactly like he is on television, but also super chill. Like we had a really nice conversation about Sir William, like their relation, that they were involved through the London Zoo. But he was quite a railway enthusiast and was quite impressed, when I explained that I bought a loco. And he was just like, we chatted for like 10 minutes, no stress, nothing. And then it was like, all right, we better disappear. But, real pleasure to meet you. I think, you're hilarious, great guy. And it's just like mad. Bill Bailey looks like Lawrie. Yeah, me when I was younger. Yeah. And so that was, that's the story of acquiring the 48. And I think now with the 48, I look at it and I have very much established, because I've owned it for almost a decade now. The 48 is definitely my loco. Like I look at it and that's just, you just turn up and go, yeah, this is natural. This is how it should be. I should have the loco. The others I look at and you're still like, I look at the 165 and like, that's a stupid thing someone's bought, isn't it? Oh yeah.
I did that.
I don't think you appreciate that. The 48 is tiny as a locomotive, but when you park the fire engine next door to it, which as a road vehicle is relatively large, fire engine is tiny. By the way, you can buy my fire engine now, pre-order on the website. Just saying, because it's going to be made in 00 scale, so you can have the fire engine. Anyway, you park the fire engine, 48, 48 is huge. 48 compared to other locomotives, 48 tiny. Yeah, you can buy that now. That's pre-order that now. That's going to be available early next year from Oxford Diecast, which is awesome.
If you want it.
But 48, tiny locomotive. When you park the 165 next door to it, the 165 is rather large. You go, the 48 is a toy. It is a wonderful shunting thing, perfect for a yard where you need to move a couple of wagons around on a Thursday. The 165 is actually a proper loco, and you're like, oh yeah, she's big. At what point will the LMM fleet be modelled? I cannot possibly confirm or deny.
I would really like to have a 165 in O gauge.
I know, wouldn't the 165 in O gauge be amazing?
Just to see all the cranks go around on the outside, it'd be awesome. I want one. Come on, Haljan or Dapol.
We'll get to those. We'll get to those. Think about it.
Oh,
think about it.
So, that's it. And then I started a YouTube channel and started doing railway stuff and
snowball.
126,000 subscribers, 705 videos later.
Yeah,
you're on the shunting yard.
Yeah, this is the obvious place my career's gone, isn't it?
This is it. This is the top.
I peaked. This is it. I can retire tomorrow and nothing I will do. Meeting Sir William, nothing compared to hanging out with you guys.
Works for us, mate. Appreciate it. Amazing story. I think
that was really wholesome.
I need to clear this up. So Lewis said that he's really enjoying listening to the Kiln Line and Laurie's mechanical marvels. I'm just sat here in awe. I'm just completely sat here in awe. So apologies for being silent.
I haven't really let you talk. That's
but that's fine. That's fine. As long as one of us is talking and it's interesting, it's all right.
Welcome to 1 hour and 30 minutes of the stream. Nobody said anything. It's just a staring match.
Yeah, it's happened. It's happened.
It'd make a pretty shit podcast, but it's all right for a live stream.
I can hear the crickets in the background now. Okay, moving swiftly on. I'm not going to put a banner up for this one. So Rob wanted to ask, out of the various vehicles that you own, which is your favorite?
Jupiter.
Is it Jupiter?
Without a shadow of a doubt.
I could have called that.
I will go homeless before I lose that truck. She has tested my patience more than I think anything else on this planet. But I absolutely adore it. I love it. I absolutely love her. Absolutely, completely and utterly, just adore it. I love her to pieces. She's the first vehicle I ever bought. and I love it. I love being out in it. I love taking it out. And my friend Tom drives it a lot now, and I love now being able to appreciate somebody else. And he's fallen in love with it as well. What's beautiful is he loves it. I let one of my other friends have a drive on it on a private road the other day, and sent a video, and he was like, oh, I'm not sure how I like this. This is like watching somebody cheat on your missus. And it's just he's got that same level of love for it. So I love Jupiter to pieces. I absolutely, yeah, she'll be the last thing to go. And then she's followed closely by Sir William, because she's a loco, and she's Sir Loco that I bought from Sir William. I can't ever surpass that, really.
You've got a lot of history with those two particular vehicles.
Yeah, the two of them, I will hold on to those to my dying breath. Both of those.
I don't blame you.
They're amazing two things to have. They're brilliant pieces of history. So yeah, I absolutely, yeah, I love both of those. And the least favourite, as that question popped up.
Yes, it did.
I mean, there's
Mini?
I love the Mini. I absolutely love the Mini. The Mini, I didn't like the Minis when they were released. I didn't like the Minis when I'd previously driven them, because it's not a Mini. It's just it's not even a homage to the old Mini. It's overweight, it's bloated, and it's rubbish.
My friend calls them binnies.
Oh, I call it the Binny. Yeah, I call it the BMW 0 Series. I've done so many miles in that car, and I have gone into too many corners too fast, where I've gone, oh, Lawrie, you are going to die. You have mucked this up. And the Mini goes, yeah, boss, and it goes around the corner. It's a phenomenal little car. I've pushed it so hard. I've had it up in Scotland. I've had it around in Wales, driving the back roads and pushing it, and it just takes it. It sounds quite fruity. The Mini is possibly the best car that came out in the mid 2000s, like as a standard car. And also, if you put the two, it's not a 4-seater. I'll just point that. It is a van. It is a 2-seater with a boot. If you have the other seats up, there is no room for anybody who's actually got legs. So you're either a child or an amputee, and you can get in the back. And there's no room for anything in the boot apart from a single carrier bag with a can of drink. Or you put the seats down and have a spacious boot and a 2-seater car, and it's glorious. So yes, in terms of my least favourite is probably a car that's not yet revealed that's going to be sold, because it's just. It's not, it was bought for a project and I don't need it. In terms of the stuff in the fleet that's my least favourite, it's probably the Volvo 440. And it's not the car I don't like. It's just not a car that I ever wanted. So I bought it to do a challenge of, is it cheaper to buy a car or rent a car to go away? And I just fell in love with it. It's like driving a sofa. You go into a corner, it's like, I need to do a load of work to it. It needs a load of welding. It's got dents all over it. I need to sort the wiring on it. It's just a really comfortable sofa to be in. But it's just, out of all the vehicles I own, it's the only one that I didn't go out and be like, I really want one of these. Now I've got it, I think it's important to say, because when I was growing up, the 440 was everywhere. It was a taxi car. Loads of taxi people had them. They were common as muck. Loads of people I know had a 440, and now they have just vanished. So it's not going to go anywhere, because it's really important to keep it for preservation. But it's probably my least favourite, because it's the one that I never planned to get.
Fair enough. That's very interesting. I don't know about the Volvo. I do have a soft spot for Volvos.
I actually own a Volvo, and I love it to bits.
The 440 is brilliant, because it's not even a proper Volvo. It's a built by Renault Volvo.
Yeah.
So it's not even a proper Volvo. It's I can't remember what it is underneath. So it's the least Volvo of the Volvo. No, you've got work to do there, Loz. Carry on. Once something works, you may leave.
Once the Volvo is up to scratch, then you can leave.
Exactly.
Perfect. Right, moving on. Rob, I believe this was your question.
Ooh. Skull is amazing for about 5 minutes. And then you've done every conceivable move with every conceivable bit of stock, and you're done. So Skull is wonderful, and I love Skull to pieces, because
it is lovely.
We're going on a tangent here. I know, surprise.
Oh, carry on.
So Skull was built by a friend of mine for the Mid Suffolk Light Railway. He was an esteemed micro layout builder called Colin French, and then he's quite well known in modelling circles.
Yep.
Now, Colin's wife allows him to have, I think, 7 layouts at any one time. If he wants to have more than 7, when I say layouts, I mean they are this big. They're all micro layouts. Skull is one of his larger layouts, believe it or not.
Oh,
really?
So he builds micro, like he's got an O gauge box file layout, for example.
What?
Yeah, I know. So
is that possible?
It's very small. I mean, the fiddle yard's not part of it, but the scenic is, because he was proving that you can do O gauge in a tiny space.
Yeah.
So Skull was already recycled. Skull was another layout that got rebuilt because basically he hit 7 and he's got to break something up or get rid of one. So we were on the footplate of Whittington, which was visiting from North Norfolk. I was the fireman, he was the driver. And we were just chatting. I said, you got any plans to take Skull out again this year? Because I just bought the Ixion model of Whittington because I wanted the model of one of the locomotives that I was driving. Not that it's actually Whittington, but it's basically the same thing. And he went, no, I've got to break Skull up because, I need, went through the story. I've got to. And I went, well, you can't break it up. It's such a wonderful mid-Suffolkish layout because it's based on the Skull Railway, which is like 20 miles up the road from Midi. Yeah, now, can I buy it? I've bought a loco. I haven't got anywhere to run it. Can I have it? And he's like, yeah. So he sold it to me stupidly cheap. And that was a mistake because now I have, 15 O gauge. Like I on TMC the other day, they had the Class 15 for sale at half price. It doesn't really.
They're good locos. They're good locos, Class 15s.
So yeah, to answer the question, Skull is great. I love Skull. I love running stuff, and I love shunting on it. And it's great that I can bring it down and I can play it. Play with it for a couple of for 15 minutes, shunt back and forth. It's perfect for the 48. It's perfect for most of Dapol stuff to shunt with. And it's great for taking to show with your friends because you put your friends in charge and then you go off and enjoy the show.
Just walk off, yeah.
The modular is superb for a load of reasons. Firstly, a group of my friends who I've enjoyed the company of, we come together and run this thing, so it's a fantastic social event. We have all absolutely surpassed my wildest expectations of how good a thing we could build. Like, it is absolutely so much better than I thought we were going to do. I thought it was going to be rubbish. And we've done an incredible job. Loz has just rebuilt his museum, so he's got a 3D printer and he's now redoing his museum because that was the weakest part of it. And it like looking at he's been building the steel supports for it, like a quad thing with the stick. Like making pillars out of steel, out of it. And what he's working on now it's incredible. And it's been so much fun to bring this together, to actually build something, we actually could do this, and actually run decent length trains, and we've all got a big collection of stuff. So it's such an eclectic collection of different model railway stuff. It's allowed me to run that. So my favourite thing is this was at the NEC, and I bought my 1980s Evening Star 10 to drive when it was Hornby Triang and ran it at the National Festival of Railway Modelling. So everybody else has got, £100, £200 models of absolutely top notch. There's a similar era Ginty next door to it, which I had rebuilt on the channel of I'd had body shell, and then I decided to rebuild it, which was much more expensive than buying, say, a Bachmann Ginty. But I rebuilt it. And I had the 2 of those running, and it brought me so much joy to have one of these older models actually in the limelight, actually running for the show and actually doing what it's meant to do. Absolutely, it was brilliant. And the amount of people who came up during the show and were like, I had one of them. Not I had an older version of that. No, I had that very thing. And they were overjoyed to see that. They were overjoyed to see their engine actually doing something, the engine they remember from their childhood. And it just shows that these things, they're fine. They still work. They still do it. And on the modular, which is a decent length, unless you're right up next door to it, it's just a 9F going past. You don't really notice. You don't notice that much that it's that much different on a big layout. So, that was good, Tom. That was good outro. So I love it. I love running stuff. We run it as a modern heritage railway with a large interpretation on what's actually been preserved.
Yep. And
it's glorious because you run what you want with what you want and just enjoy trains going up and down. It's a good length of stuff. And so, like that, we've got the Sound Fitted 31 with our graffitied coaches, which are like the coolest thing that we have ever done from our good friends over at TMC. Go out, check out TMC's weathering and graffiti service. Graffiti, I don't condone graffiti at all, but having your own custom graffiti coaches with my logo on it, with the NCMA's logo on it, absolutely awesome. So any excuse to take the modular places. It's been such a wonderful experience, and I get to hang out with my mates. We've all come closer together as a result of it. We have an absolute riot. The NEC, particularly after the show, I don't think we have cried with laughter so much. It was absolutely. It was fantastic. At the end, yeah. So I'm super proud of it. We've got new modules in construction. So we're back at the NEC this year again with it. We got invited back with all new setups. So there may be 1 or 2 boards that have been heavily modified that will be there again, but everything else will be new. So we're really excited for that. So come along. The only problem with the modular is I don't actually ever get to have a go with it because so we have a roster, you see, because there's enough of us. And I said to Lawrie, who organised the roster, I said, look, you put me at the end of the day, put me first. He's like, yeah, but yeah. We thought we'd put you at the end of the day. So I won't get a chance to drive it, and then they put me first. Leave the guy who's on it there, but just have me on a standby, because I assure you, as soon as somebody comes up, that'll be me. So I operated for maybe 10 minutes. I got 2 trains up and down, and somebody came up and said, "Oh, Lawrie, hi." And that was it.
Gone.
So this sounds incredibly big-headed, and I hate myself for saying it, but this year we're taking a sign saying, "Please queue this way."
Oh.
Yep. That sounds awful, doesn't
Not
it?
bad,
but, I didn't know which way to look. So, yes, that's the leader. That was the factory sample of the leader, which I hadn't put the body back on properly, which is why it's slightly on the. You can see the bottom.
Oh, it's your fault, is it?
Yeah, well, you can see the frame just at the bottom of it. That's why it's on the whatever, because the body wasn't on right. And then I enjoy running a bit of American stuff, which makes me very happy as well. Just stuff that you can just about get away with. So, as much as I would love to run the Bigboy on the modular, it won't look right. However, that little the Plymouth with a couple of coaches is just about within the realms of, oh yeah, it's kind of small heritage. Yeah, that kind of works.
That could work, yeah.
That completely blows my suggestion out of the water of when I was going to meet you in Slough. I was going to bring one of my Manning Wardles and a couple of coaches to run up it, but I think they're going to probably hit platforms.
They may not fit. I was given the Bushbuster gun, the Oxford Rail big gun, by my mates for my birthday, and it won't go around the corner out of the Victual Yard, which is the most depressing thing, to be like, I've got this amazing thing and I can't run it. Yeah, thanks, Loz. That's to be honest, that will probably help with the queue, so that'll be fine.
That would be great, yeah.
Tom, that's enterprising. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's great. Not to have one of these photographs. That's £20.
Yeah. You have to. So the second year I did the NEC, I flew in from Poland because I've been out with my friend in Poland for a funeral. And so we came back off the day of the NEC. So we landed and into Birmingham, walked through. I got to the second pillar, and that is all the NEC that I managed to see that year.
Oh, okay.
I lived the show. I sent the entourage out to film, and I lived that show through the filming that they'd done, because that showed me the show. And it turns out it was a really good show that year, but I didn't see any of it.
That sucks.
It was great.
I mean, you got a video out of it, but that sucks. No, I couldn't imagine being at the NEC, and I think getting out in your first year, as you say, it was well deserved. I love looking at this layout.
It wasn't well deserved at all.
Oh, look at the layout, and I think you can look at it from so many different angles and see something new. It's interesting. It looks grand. I think you did a cracking job with it.
Have you managed to fix the underground railway yet on your module?
On subsidence, as we call it. Turns out that you shouldn't hack away like 50% of the board. We've been sponsored by Grange and Hodder again for the next build of the next couple of boards that me and Loz are building. And they went, we will sponsor you again on the condition that you do not hack away the middle of the board. There were so many other ways you could have done that and not ruined your board. Why didn't you reach out to us and we told you how to do it? We just sent you other bits to reinforce your board. Why did you do that like this? So my next plan for the next board is I'm cutting a big hole in it again. So for the 009, no. So I'm going to. I've planned it all out. It's all planned. Is basically chop all the 009 out, cut it all out, build a new board that sits underneath that has the 009 on, which will then lift up and clip underneath the main board. What did Loz immediately do to the new board? Cut it in twain, yes. So for the 009 to work, so basically the plan was, if we didn't have enough people bringing new modules, was to rebuild Subsidence so the 009 worked. However, we've had a load of new members come forward, and we have enough modules going that I don't need to rebuild Subsidence. As it's now been called. So we've got 2 more modules that me and Loz are building, and I'm building another corner to go into it. So we should be fine. But eventually, it will have a reinforced frame going in, a new thing for the 009, which will then lift back in and clip into place, which will mean assembling it was good, because it turns out that actually putting legs on and building the thing has been rather hampered by the fact that there's a 009 layout in the way.
Wow. Well,
that's just brilliant.
Yeah. Also, I dropped it to try and kind of, it went to a show, but yeah, it was before the NEC, and somebody put their hand in it, and in order to put all the figures back, I dropped the layouts sections, the middle section, so I could fix it, and it never went back again properly. So yeah, whole section drop out, continuous track, because it was a nightmare. So yes. So to answer the question, the modular.
The modular. I gathered that. I think that might be my favorite of the 2. Honestly, it looks grand. It really does.
You guys have done amazing work on it.
We're super proud, like genuinely super proud. Like, we're so happy how many people have enjoyed it, and it's been great to show that you don't need any specialist skills. You can build something. At least you're in No, it's always been easy to attach to the modular, hasn't it, Loz?
Hey, yeah.
It's never been a challenge. It's never been a course of swearing at all. It's been wonderful. Like, we're really proud, and it's been lovely to show off. And one of the things that was great for us is, I'm a big believer at model railway shows, stuff needs to be moving. So your timetable of a train coming in, and this is the 10:20, when's the next train? 11:20. You're at a show, stuff needs to be moving, just constant flurry. And the modular was perfect for that. There was always something. If we had Loz's museum working, we had Tag's shunting yard working, and there were always trains going up and down. And it just, we were so great. And then the guys who organised it, BRM, talked to us and said, we thought it was great because there's always stuff that it.
Tom's coming in with the bunker busters today.
I mean, to be fair, with the challenge that me and Tom did, so it turns out.
We're getting to that.
Okay, well, that's a whole set.
We're going to get to that.
Yeah. But yeah, it is good. It's great to show, and it's great to highlight that you can make something with very little skill. And yeah, it's been brilliant. We're super proud of it. We can't wait to take it out again. We're at Slough for their model railway show, where we're taking a significant portion of it. So that will probably be Subsidence going, and then then we're at the NEC again, which is like to go to the NEC once, but to be invited back again. Wow!
You must have impressed people.
Impressed me. I matter. So there you go.
We have no idea what's going on. We're just messages, guys. Guess what? We're going back again. Everyone's like, "Wow, okay." Plug LMN Fest. Oh yes. Oh, it's also going to be set up on the 23rd of August. I think it's 23rd. He says, quickly checking his own calendar. 23rd at the Whitwell and Reefham Railway. So we're doing LMN Fest again. So there'll be opportunity of driver F5 on the Ruston. There'll be the modular setup, and there'll be rides in dupes and general chants. I'll be doing talks and things. So 23rd of August is LMN Fest again. Amazing. You should come back to the UK just for that.
I might do, depending on.
He's actually in the UK that week.
Oh, awesome!
I might be. We'll find out next week, actually, if I will be in the UK. Get some links for that, please. We'll get that shared out on our socials. We'll definitely give that a shout out. Not that you need it, but we're happy to help.
Every little helps.
Amazing. So we're talking about the modular. So the Nearly Competent Modelers Association comes up occasionally. And when I was doing a little bit of research some time ago, when it first popped up, I went, this sounds like something that could be cool. They're not taking memberships. So I wanted to get a little bit of information from you, and see how involved you were when it started, how involved you still are. Is there ongoing things that you can tell us? Because I know that on the website they're saying that the calendar events is empty, which is interesting. But
Why
is
is
there
the
something
calendar
going on?
empty?
I looked at it earlier and it was empty.
That's because our webmaster hasn't been paying attention. So I am one of the founding members of the club. So basically, we got invited to the Statfold Model Railway Show, as Lawrie did with Skull. So we took that, and obviously the entourage, the hangers on, the cogs came with us, and because Skull's operationally challenging and it's such a hardship to operate it for a long period of time, we all took turns, and everybody basically went, "Yeah, this has been really good fun. We'd like to come. We'd like to come back and do it again." So on the run up to it, I think possibly at the NEC show, Joey, who was one of the organisers, went, "Oh, are you going to come back to Stanford again for the Model Rail show?" Yeah, and he said, "Yeah, well, you need to bring something smaller than the Skull, really, don't you?" And I went, "Okay." So we decided we'd bring a load of micro layouts. We set it up as a competition amongst ourselves, A4 size box folder sized layouts. Box folder size, that's what it was. So we all went away, didn't tell anybody what our plans were, what we were doing, and built a load of box files. And actually, again, genuinely impressed with most of our modelling skills, particularly Loz. Loz sent me a picture of a oval of 009 with some like very crude ballast and went, "Yeah, I'm almost done." And we were like, God, no. And it turned out with Thistledew, which has turned out to be a really cute little 009 layout. And it's got like a little rabbit's burrow in it. So you've got the cut through where the rabbit's in it.
That's
like a couple of really nice little features. A really nice little. So that was kind of like the birth of the club, because a load of us built these modules and went, "Oh, this is really cool." And then so we kind of talked about what we want to do next to go bigger and better, and not necessarily do box files again. And so conversations were had, and we came in and went, "Well, okay, but it's basically we didn't want it to be the LMM Model Railway Club. We wanted it to have its own identity alongside LMM. So the two of them are like that; they're interlinked completely. The NCMA would probably still exist without LMM, but it certainly wouldn't do things like the NEC without LMM. And I don't particularly want to have the LMM Model Railway Club because I just don't have thanks, Loz. I don't have the time to run it. So Loz is the chairman of the NCMA. And so they go hand in hand, and we work very, very closely together. That's
I assumed.
And that's basically how it is. But it came off the back of Statfold and a group of mates wanting to do something to come together. The LMM and the MRC.
The LLMMRC. Well,
so
try saying that 5 times faster when you drive.
So it's been a really nice experience. It basically just means that whilst I'm part of it, and the NCMA represents LMM, and so it's got my branding with it, and we go together, and it's either it goes, sometimes it's the NCMA and LMM or whatever, so they go together, but it just means that it's not another thing that I'm on top of. It is its own separate entity. Like the NCMA can go out without me. I don't need to go to a show, and in fact it's gone to a couple of shows without me being there. So it gives it that bit of flexibility, because if it was the LMM Model Railway Club, it kind of means that I have to be there, whereas the NCMA is its own thing and is able to go off and do its own thing, and everybody, pretty much. That's that's basically it. The NCMA gives the LMM content, and the LMCA gets absolutely nothing back.
Perfect arrangement.
But that's it's how it is. I help open doors for the club, and it means that I don't need to be there for the club, and the club is its own entity. But so I make suggestions, and I occasionally go, "This is what we're doing." So it is a society, a democracy. We're voting. We have meetings. We vote on stuff, and occasionally I go, "No, we're doing this." So the NCMA, the Nearly Competent Modelers Association, because we had lots of names that we came up with, and we just thought we were tickled. Like when we came up with it, we never thought we were going to go to like the NEC, but we were tickled by the concept of going to a show and people reading it and going, "Oh, what's this? Oh, the Nearly Competent Modelers Association." And then that was in the NEC's booklet. We're like in the magazine that came for the show. It is and we're like, well, this is what we kind of thought would be very funny. and people have complimented us on the name, and it's just been like, yeah, it's brilliant.
I think it's the perfect name.
We're proper
I think
pleased.
it's perfect name for it. That's insane. Well, I hope one day I'm able to find one of these shows when I get back to the UK eventually.
It will be at my camera.
Your camera just decided to throw a flashbang at you.
Yeah, he just flashbanged himself.
What on earth happened then?
Usually we have the technical difficulty. Now it's making my camera blurry.
What did?
Has a nuke just gone off over in the east? Has it? Just
Yeah.
I have no idea what I just said.
Let me check outside.
I had no idea what I did there. Yeah.
Yeah, the police have tracked him down.
Yeah, it's been a great experience. It's been really fun. It's been and the whole idea has been to try and encourage people to do model railwaying. Whether that's the nicest thing about doing the box files, we had a couple of families come up, particularly dads and kids, and they looked at the box files and the A4s and went, "Oh, actually, we can do this." Because there's not enough publicity showing out there that you can build small layouts, and that's a really good way to get into the hobby. Of not everybody, particularly in today's world, has enough room for. I don't have a room for a model railway here, but I have a room for a box file, and it means you can get into the hobby relatively cheaply because a box file, let's be honest, like if you really go all out, it's going to be £100 for the track and the scenery for a box file, and it means you can do a really nice job and really practicing your modelling. And several people are like, "Oh, I can do this. I can get into the hobby," and it's the same thing with the modular. It's been to show, look, this is funny, it's an exhibition quality layout. It isn't, but
them all together,
but,
and
but it's gone to an exhibition, and it's to say, look, you can build something like this. We're clearly idiots, especially Lawrie, and so this is fellow NCMA member Nick, who has his own channel, Trains with Nick. Nick is actually a hero because when we went to our first show at Statfold, the chap who was meant to build the passing module where all the controllers plugged in and the controllers suddenly became unwell and was unable to attend. So we turned up to the show without a passing loop, without anywhere to actually power the layout, and we were like... So Nick is a big fan of the Wisbech and Upwell tramway, and so he'd modelled his board to have one of the passing loops that they had all along this network, where you would drop off a wagon to be loaded with produce from the local farms, and then you could pick it up. And they were all loops, so you could collect it from whichever direction you're going. You drop it off empty one way and pick it up full the other. And it just so happened that his loop was big enough to take a train and 2 carriages. And with a bit of Lawrie being very clever and splicing wires, and we managed to make this work. And so his module, which was just meant to be a scenic thing, has become the centerpiece of the modular ever since, where we pass trains. So, and it wasn't intended for that. And so he then took it away and modified it and put new systems in, and it's been a lovely passing place ever since. So there we go.
Amazing. Well, there you go. All hail Nick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's really saved the day on that show. He genuinely saved it. Like, and again, he didn't plan it. It was just that's what he wanted to make, and it was awesome. We did think about that. We did think about making a modular box file. We thought that'd be hilarious, but also a load of work.
But that would be great. Challenge accepted.
We did think about doing it for 009.
That could be interesting.
You could do a lot with it in 009 as well. You could have like a little shunting area, maybe an ingle nook somewhere.
That was the idea, but the actual modular is... We have enough going on just trying to get the modular together and building the new bits of the modular.
You've got enough on your plate.
Lawrie, do you own any Great Western Locos and double O gauge? Most of
them. Which one don't you own?
I don't have a 47XX. I don't have the Night Owl.
My latest acquisition. My latest acquisition.
Or see, I think in terms of classes, I think that's the and I don't have the 16XX, the light pannier tank.
No.
I don't have that. I think I've got an example of everything else that's ready to run. Probably, don't know. what happened to the original passing module? It's now been purchased by another member. So at some point it may appear. That's about it. It's gone.
You'll
yes.
Fantastic. Right, moving swiftly on. So you mentioned the TMC
Nothing of this
diorama
has been
challenge.
swift.
No, it's not been swift, but it's fine. We're doing it and we're having fun. Or at least I hope you are. Quick.
Get me out of here.
Sniff the vodka. So you mentioned the TMC diorama challenge beforehand and some other bloke that you were doing it with.
So
what was
I met
it like?
one of, it was an experience. So they'd clearly got an idea of what they wanted to do. Oh, cheers, Deej. Thank you, mate. Like, how late are you turning up to the stream? First of all, I got to meet Tom, who before he met me was a big fan of the channel, and then he's kind of with me did this as the time went on, because I present quite well on YouTube, and he realised that the real me is actually completely useless. I don't know what it was about Tom. I think we just kind of clicked, and that we had this instant, just complete piss-taking relationship, which has been fantastic. He takes the mic and I just take it, and this whole kind of on-screen relationship of bullying kind of turned up. It's just been glorious taking it. do you know what? I had to talk to somebody else there and be like, I don't actually know if Tom likes me or not. I've got to this stage now. I'm genuinely unsure, and they were like, no, he really does like you. He's just really enjoying himself. But I literally had to ask somebody else. It was like, I honestly don't know. I thought this was banter, but I really can't tell anymore.
Where's the difference?
But it turned out to be, so that was the greatest thing about doing the challenge, was meeting Tom and getting the friendship there, because it's been really good, and we meet up at shows and stuff and go out and have a chat and catch up, and just we just get on really well. That's been and having this kind of banter between the two of us has been really good fun as well, and especially when people come across it and they don't have any idea, like they haven't seen the videos or anything, and so they just get Tom throwing abuse at me and me coming back with like a little heart emoji, and people are like, what the hell is going on here?
How does that work?
What an abusive relationship.
It's just
those are the best friendships. It comes down to that whole thing, is if your friend falls over, what's the first thing you do?
Oh, you laugh.
You laugh.
Well, actually, no, you get your phone out, you film it, and then you laugh.
Take a selfie, then laugh.
Yes, exactly. That's about where me and Tom are. So it was really good, and we just got on really well, and so Loz came along and filmed. We had Charles, and we came up with the idea, and we kind of worked out what we were going to do, and that project is 90% Tom's work and about 10% mine. And on that, we learnt that Charles doesn't know what sheep are. And when we look back, and I watched the video back on... Cool, bud. You still come for dinner, though, yeah? Even though he can't stand me. He sits next door to me all the time, so he can't stand to be away. That's what it is. So... yeah, Charles. I watched we were doing the footage. I realised that Charles actually did nothing on that project at all. Like he was there, but achieved absolutely nothing. Yeah, he managed to paint. He tried doing. I forgot the clip. He was doing a black wash, but he was very painstakingly trying to put up the dome. Like, no, Charles, we don't have time. We've got less than an hour. Just take the figure. Done. Next figure. Done. This is how you black wash.
Get it done. Yeah.
And so it was. It was quite good. But so Tom took the idea that we kind of brainstormed the idea, and we'd listened. We'd had a talk on the train, as you probably saw in the video, and I'd kind of listened as we listened to this. I was like, I think this is going to be relevant. There's no other reason that they've given us a talk, and so I listened to it, and we kind of brainstormed what we thought would be a good idea, because we were up against Jenny Kirk, and like Jenny is a really good modeler. And we knew we'd have challenge with beating Jenny on a fair playing field. So we figured the easiest thing to do would be to listen to what they'd said and try and guess the game. And We didn't cheat. We just accepted. So we'll get onto this.
Yeah.
So we listened to a couple of things, and they told us the story of the railway and the fact that as it goes across the bog, it's still floating on these bundles of birch wrapped in sheepskin. And we went, okay, so maybe we can do something like that. And I'm sure if we make because it's not a layout, it's a diagram. If we do something to show we've listened, I'm sure this is going to be key points. So the kind of early days of the railway and all that. And we had a gift card with a certain amount of money that we could spend for these things. We had the tools, we had the baseboard, and then we could go on TMC and buy the bits. So first of all, we realised that foam and modelling things are expensive. We could just go and raid the toilets and make our own paper mache. Much easier way of doing stuff. Paper mache takes time to dry, so we came up with a clever plan because they had said you have a 24-hour building time. So they said, well, you start this, you build the board, you order the things you want, and then the next day the order will come in from TMC and you can start building. They didn't at any point say you have to leave it alone. So we were like, well, we'll start building the scenery overnight. So we asked if we could have the key to go back into the community centre because we'd forgotten something. I went, oh, we'll come with you. No, don't worry, we'll return the keys in the morning, don't you worry. And we also thought, for the purpose of the video, it makes it a far more entertaining video if we sneak in an item. So off we went, raided the toilets, all of the hand paper towels, and built the scenery overnight. And then went, well, this will be dry by the morning. It wasn't dry by the morning.
No, it wasn't.
So we turned up, we sat there with a hairdryer. So this is all within the law, with the rules, because we've not taken anything from outside, which were the rules to build this thing, apart from the cardboard that we used. And the other team were less than impressed when they turned up. We'd got a structure built and they got nothing. And then Jenny built a layout out of nothing in no time. And we were just like,
how the frick, yeah.
Oh. Like, we're like, we've got this. We're miles ahead. They're going to have a board with nothing. And then we're like, balls. Like, we're not going to win this. And the only reason that we did, because I can, in all fairness, like, Jenny's was probably prettier than ours. But because we listened and we got the story and there was a little narrative of, the hut showing the change of the days, the tracks going through showing how muddy it was, the fact we changed the spacing of the rails to represent the fact it's tramways, it was light laid, the fact that we've got the dead horse, the bundles, that was all I did on that project. Is I sat there.
I was going to say, what did you do?
I sat there with my microphone that I broke to get the thin wire out of it, my little lapel with little fibers, which basically are brush bristles, wrapping them into bundles and then passing them over. And I spent about the morning just building these. Tom made a landscape. He made the model kit of the building, made an entire landscape, made the ruts and all the water and everything. I made some bundles. That was my contribution. And the bundles.
It's what you were good at.
Well, that's entirely what I'm good at. That is what I will go down on my gravestone as Lawrie 00 bundle maker.
It was an important, integral part of the
It was.
Well, that dead horse was also, that was the kit. It was I can't think what kit it was, but it's rubbish. It's utter tosh. And the horse is two halves that glue together. And we're looking at it going, but we don't have the tools all the time to be able to get rid of the mold, the join line. Yeah, it would look like two halves. And so we just like laid him in the bit of railway and look, he's a dead horse. I went, actually. And then so that was that. Raid the toilets and make paper mache. Yeah, that's literally the plan. So it was yes, that was absolutely, it's bollocks, isn't it? It's one of these kits that you're absolutely amazed that they're still making it because it is tosh. The instructions were absolutely useless. It's one of those that you just put it together based on the image because the instructions tell you nothing. I was
going to say, do you need an instruction to put a horse together?
Not really, but for the wagon as well, it might have been. It wasn't good. It was So so basically we won because of that, and we enjoyed doing the working all night on it. What you missed, I think I included it in my video, but in the official TMC, they gave us a timeout because of the going in all night.
Yeah.
In the actual response was they did this kind of sit down, you have to have a talk thing for the more drama. And they're like, we heard that you came in. I'm like, yeah, we know, you gave us the keys. And they're like, oh yeah. So like, you said, here it is on footage. We play it back. You said it's a 24-hour challenge.
24-hour challenge.
This is a 24-hour challenge. You didn't say we had to go back. And the other guys turned around like, from TMC were like, you know what, he's got you. And I'm like, yes, thank you. We win. We should go back.
Right?
Now. And like, no, we need to give you a timeout for something. Like, okay, but it's not that, is it? Like, we did nothing wrong.
Stealing cardboard from outside.
Yeah. So
Although it was on the property, so I would have ruled that as fair game.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't leave the property. It was fine. It was absolutely. It was great. It was hilarious.
It was fantastic. It really was fantastic.
I mean, the highlight for us was, definitely me, Loz, and Charles had a really good laugh. We got to meet Tom, and just the shots fired that are here. It was just constant the whole time, and it was just hilariously good fun. We just got on. We got on really well and had a good time and put the world to rights. And yeah,
I completely agree. It was great to be a viewer, and if you haven't seen it already, go over to the multiple versions.
You can see the version that's a lie.
Just watch them all. It's fantastic. From every different perspective, you start going, hang on. You just start seeing them filming each other. It's just absolute chaos. If you've got multiple screens, watch multiple at the same time.
I really want them to do it again. I really want them to do it again because I'd love to do it again. Oh, the greatest thing, which I probably shouldn't repeat, but we will anyway, was the stuff was meant to turn up at an allotted time, okay, for us to get on with the build. TMC did not deliver it for an hour. So they were an hour late on their own delivery window of getting the stuff that we'd ordered from them for the challenge. And we just sat there being like...
So what do we do now? Does that mean you get an extra hour tomorrow?
Nope, it was nothing. And then they didn't send us... we didn't have the black we needed. They sent us a different colour. So going to open the paint like, we cannot make black wash out of this. And so there was a mad panic. So they had to try and find a suitable black in the shop. And we sat there being like, guys, we could really do with this to, time is running out and we do need to we do need to make this happen.
I would definitely
Tom's video, especially Laurie's. Tom's was a little more scathing than mine. Who was the mastermind of the cheating? Oh, it was me. Yeah, that was my plan. I came cheat. Well, there was no cheating. We did not cheat. We just existed within the framework of the rules in a slightly expanded way that wasn't defined. Which, in the true spirit of Formula One, is if it's not written down, it means you can do it.
I mean, they told you 24 hours. You expect 24 hours.
Yes.
If you don't want to sleep, don't sleep. Model.
We got like 4 hours sleep. It was stupid.
Worth it.
It was a strong bending of the rules. Nothing was broken, but it was flexed to breaking point.
Fantastic. I definitely, if they do it again, I look forward to seeing you there because I think they will definitely be asking you to come
I'd love to do it again with more people. I'd team up with Tom again. That would be good. But I'd like to do it with more people. So I'd like to see Jenny back there. I'd like to see some other people, some other YouTubers, and have 3 or 4 teams. Maybe
that'd
4.
Be great.
That's where I think you get the real chaos. If you had a load, I suggested to them what I'd like to do is give us a starter set, like TT starter set, 00 starter set, doesn't really matter. Starter set, small board. What can you do with, say, £100, £200 of TMC stuff? Starter set. What can you do with the starter set? Who can make the most exciting layout? Don't bother with the trip on the North Yorkshire border or anything, but just here's a starter set.
Yep.
Reimagine it. What can you do with a starter set and £100? I think that'd be a great challenge.
Amazing challenge. Absolutely amazing.
I'd love to have a go at that.
Possibilities.
Yeah, I think that would be super.
There you are, TMC. If you're watching, get it done.
Are they watching?
Yeah, if they are watching.
Never know.
If they are watching, the postage service was superb at all times. Highly recommend it.
Were they using raw mail?
To be fair, like
but the hope not.
That I got from, they do. I've got a good pour most of it, but all the stuff I've ordered from TMC since, or if they sent me down stuff, it's like, oh yeah, we've arranged this, and then it turns up the next day. It's absolutely their stuff has been super. It's like you go, what's this parcel that's turned off? Oh, it's the model that I ordered yesterday. What the hell?
Sorry
guys. Well, I've just fixed it by that bit, I think.
Oh yeah.
And also, like, they did have the Rustons 48 on sale at £119, which was bonkers considering it's what, £200 new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
my one wasn't on sale because it already sold out, but the lesser versions of it.
But that's the one I'd want, Lawrie.
Yeah, yes, but it's sold out most places. It's actually harder to find now because
I know it's the one that was in most demand. Yeah, no, that's totally understandable though.
They also had the Acura Scale 88 on sale for £140, and that was I don't need an 88. I really don't need an 88. I've now got an 88 in the oh dear. So that was going to look beautiful on Skull.
It'd suit the layout well.
Well.
Oh, you got it from Great Eastern. Oh, Great Eastern's a good model shop.
Sorry, just checking out questions. Right, we're going to move on swiftly.
We're not. That's a lie.
I have to say swiftly. I have to. We're hitting the 2 hour
lied as
mark.
easily as he breathes.
This is the 2 hour mark. So we're gonna take.
So officially, guys, having looked at the running schedule that we have here, we are not 50% through what we scheduled.
We're nowhere near 50%. We're nowhere. I was not expecting the introduction to take 40 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, but it's been fantastic.
Good content. It's good content.
It works. I'm happy with it. I'm perfectly happy with it. So we're gonna go through some viewer questions at the moment.
The private notes between these two are like, "What have we done? Why are we here?"
It's just the shifty eyes, No, it's absolutely fantastic. So, what is your next project in the shed? Why is it done? That sounds like an excuse. Also, can I have a raise? There's a Land Rover 110 for sale near me. I want to buy it.
Yeah, he can. I will double his wage. And double of nothing. Let's see. Carry the one.
Dust.
That is it's still nothing. The next project in the shed is actually I want to get my NX 100 back on the road.
Oh yeah,
it's such a rare little car, and I'm really enjoying it. All I've got to do is put the engine and gearbox back in it. Which comparatively to some of the other things isn't a huge thing. It doesn't need anything else. It just needs an engine and gearbox going back in. And it's just such a weird car. I'd love to. That's my next thing I really want to get back on the road. So that's the answer to that. Is the NX 100.
Question for Rob: with your LMB fix, are you now a little Southern boy instead of a Westie?
No comment. But I am. But no, I'm only Southern for the LMB. I'm still a Westerner.
The LMB is nice.
It's in my blood. But now I like these Pannier tanks more than I like the GWR ones.
They are stunning.
Sorry, James.
No, not allowed.
I like the Baldwin. The Baldwins are lovely. I like them.
The Baldwins are very nice.
If Lionheart came out tomorrow and said we're releasing the Baldwin in 016.5, I think I'd probably sell the rest of the fleet to pay for it.
Would you do one? Would you like just a live Steam version, like a ride behind with the Baldwin?
I would love to, but whether my wallet could afford it is totally something different.
That wasn't the question. The question is is that the thing that you'd be like, yes, I'll have one?
Yes, but I prefer the Manning Wardles, but I'd go happily with a Baldwin.
Right.
Yes, I have to admit, there's a video to come out of it in the future.
Aha! So.
It's the weirdest thing I've ever driven because it's geared. You're getting, I think, 6 chuffs per revolution. So you're going along, it's going, and it's just, it's weird. I mean,
I've just seen this.
Harsh but true, Loz. Harsh but true.
Right. Gary asks, what do you think of Hornby live steam in the 00 gauge?
I really want one. I keep chatting to the guys when I see the live steam roadshow setup about going and doing a video on it because I would love to actually have a proper go with it. Because I when it came out, I thought it was a bit of a fad, but having seen it operate, I'm like, they look really cool. The problem is though, you just need a big space for it, don't you? You can't have it.
Yeah.
There's no point in having it on an oval track. You need like the roadshow that they've got set up to actually get it up to speed and have a proper run with them. Now I've seen some of the stuff they've done. There's other engines they've had made for it. So it's not just the A4s and the A3s. They've got Coronations and Princess Royals and stuff. So I think it's really cool. I think it's actually a shame that the range wasn't expanded further. But also, it was quite niche. So I'd love to get involved in it, but I would need a lot more space than I have.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I think if I ever do build an outdoor layout, I think I might have it fitted for live Steam running. I think that's the only way that I'd be able to do it is to have it outside. I really when I say when I was younger, back when it first came out, I was in absolute awe, and I thought, oh, this would be great, running it off live Steam. And then, of course, you'd see the price tags and things like that, and then you see no Great Western stuff, and that instantly threw me off, completely threw me off. But to see that there are still there's still the Double O live Steam club that are still
And they
keeping
make
it alive
replacement
and
parts.
kicking. It's absolutely amazing.
There's the valve gear effectively. It's a spinning plastic, effectively disc with channels on it.
Yeah.
And apparently it wears out, so they now manufacture their own, which is slightly better than the Hornby ones to keep the things going. So I think that's cool.
It's insane that the fact that a group have come together to support something that was discontinued and keep it alive is amazing. I too think it was prematurely discontinued. I don't know if it was just not popular.
It's too expensive, wasn't it?
It was also too expensive, and you couldn't run it on your existing layout with other stuff on it.
Yeah, you needed its own dedicated route, really, didn't it? And I just, that's what I dream of. He was so lovely, wasn't he? Anyway.
Memories.
Making tracks, guys. Making tracks. Going back to your question, what means railways? Making tracks on the BBC in the early 90s. Mm-hmm. That has a. Do you know what's really cool? One of the engines in that, as it backs up, is an engine in Poland, which I have since been on and beyond footplate of. So there's in the opening sequence to Making Tracks from the BBC. If you go watch it, you can find it on YouTube. You can find the opening. There's a Polish locomotive that reverses through the screen as like the background. And I have been on the footplate of that very engine. So the whole thing loops background to what I watched that got me into it. I've since crewed, and I think that's special. I don't have any plans to get back to Volstein at the moment. I have a video of Volstein to come out of the last mainline steam service in Europe, and a couple of videos of exploring the abandoned railways around it to come out. So I'd like to get back out, but it's not quite the same. Hopefully, the OLs will be coming back soon. And when the OLs, that's their 262 Prairie tender engines, when they come back, I'll be interested in going out and seeing them a bit differently. So I'd like to get back out and see it again because it's glorious, but it's not what it once was. I got friends who went out just after the wall came down. And you had the roundhouse full of engines and steam, trains going to Poznan, trains going to Leszno, trains going to Powodowo, trains going to Zabrozanek, which means nothing to you guys, but it's basically a station with four
I know where they are.
off it.
I know.
And yeah, and you would have steam hauled services going to all of these and steam hauled freight. And then because it was set up as a heritage depot where steam would still run, and it slowly got less and less so. The services to Powodowo stopped, they closed the line. Those services that went else to down the other branch closed. There were 5 destinations, I tell a lie. So it's all kind of calmed down. And even the year before I went, there were 3 locos in ticket, and that went down. Well, 3. There were 4 different classes available, and 3 locos went out of ticket before I turned up. And it's been kind of weird watching it fall apart like OL49 number 7. I crewed that, and then I went back a few years later and saw it just rusting away on one of the scrap lines. And that's really sad that an engine that I crewed, that I was on the footplate of, now is sat with an uncertain future. And that's as an enthusiast over here and as a heritage person in the UK, that's just something that wouldn't happen, to see an engine that was being used completely sidelined with an uncertain future. So that's weird. So yeah, I want to go back, but it's in the same way the guys who went in those early years didn't want to go back and see it. When I went to go back to buy it, what am I meant to be buying, Damien? 7. Oh, I'd love to buy 7. I would genuinely love to buy 7. It's a weird thing to go, and it's not quite the same. And the chap who organised the footplating out there has passed, and it feels weird to be back there without him, because he was such a big part of it and such a big part of my life. We're going on a tangent again. there are the two very big things that he taught me, and I've taken these to heart. So one of these is, if you have, is don't hold on to the money. Like don't put it aside for a rainy day. If you have the money and there's something you want, go do it. Don't put yourself into like financial dire straits. Don't put yourself into debt, but don't hold on to that rainy day, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So if you've got the money to go do something, you've got to just go do it. Don't wait till you retire. Don't wait for the rainy day. Don't wait for tomorrow. Go spend that money and do it. You've always got the opportunity to earn more money. You might not be doing what you want to do, but if you've got the money, you want to do it, go do it. Now, you could be cynical and say that he was a businessman telling me to book another trip out there, and so, use the money and do it. But it's something that I've always gone for, is if you have the money, go for it. And that's why I bought the fire engine, because I was like, well, I've got the money, if I don't do it, I always regret it. And as it is, I've regretted owning it several times, but, But I'd always rather be the guy who bought a fire engine. It turned out to be a massive mistake, and I went, yeah, that was a total mistake. I put my hands up. Than the guy who's going, I don't know what would happen if I'd bought a fire engine. Should have bought that. And the other one was, nobody on their deathbed wishes they'd worked more. Everybody goes, I wish I'd taken that trip. I wish I'd spent more time with the family. I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd done that. And again, you could be cynical and saying he was trying to tell me to go do more trips.
No. Live your life.
Those two things I've really taken up. Without that, I wouldn't have bought Jupiter, and I wouldn't be doing YouTube, because I wouldn't have gone off and followed those. So he's had a huge impact on me. And when he passed, I really cried over that. That hit me hard. I think for various reasons as well, because when I didn't really get a chance to say goodbye to him, because I knew he was ill, but I didn't know he was going to pass quite then. And also, it marked the end of the chapter. With him gone, that marked the end of footplating. That was the end of the club, of being able to get on the footplate out there and experience mainline steam.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, the first time I'd really had a door shut. Until then, I was like aware that I could throw some money on it and I could go and do it again. I could get out there. And that was the first kind of real example of, I can't do this again. That chapter is closed.
Things end.
So
wow.
yeah, it's that was sad. But yeah, that's had a big impact on me. So yeah, that's that.
Well, a lesson for everybody to take, I think, for sure. I think two solid pieces of advice, not just in heritage, but in life in general.
Well, an ex-girlfriend of mine, when I was looking at buying dupes, she said, two things. So the dupes came up for sale not far away from where we lived, and she said, "Don't thank you, Loz. I will beat you." And she's got a setting. I see this fire engine, and look at it. And she went, "Oh, no, but don't buy it, will you? You won't buy it." No, I'm not going to buy it. I'm just going to look at it. And of course, I turned up and saw Jupiter and just instantly fell. I said to my mechanic friend I'd taken with me, she was running. Never buy a vehicle that's running when you turn up, but she was sat there running away. And I said to him, because I hadn't seen any photos of it, the guy hadn't been able to send me photos. So I turned up, looked at Dupes, and said to my mate, if it's got Dennis across the front, I'm having this. And sure enough, she had Dennis across the front.
Sold.
Yeah, pretty much. Took it for a short drive. Learned that air brakes on a fire engine are a lot more aggressive than a car. So if you stamp on them in the same way you would a car, what happens is it stops. And the person who's in the back ends up in the front, and the person who's in the front ends up against the windscreen and the bar that stops you going through the windscreen. Lesson learned.
Safety.
So I got back home and looked at her, and she went, "You bought it, didn't you?" I was like, I gave you my word that I would not buy this. I merely agreed to buy it. And and she went, "Well, why don't you wait till you're retired? You know, this sounds like something you should have when you're retired rather than now." And I was working in film at the time. I was like, firstly, I don't know if I'll ever be able to retire, doing this job. It's not really the line of work you retire from. You just kind of keep doing it. Secondly, I don't know if I won't get hit by a bus tomorrow. And thirdly, if I buy it now, I can get like 40 years more enjoyment out of it than just having it at the end. So yeah, funnily enough, so this relationship ended because she got quite jealous of Dupes because I'm very tell the thing that I love it and how much how good it is, and so she'd get jealous and you'd be kind of like, you've done really well, so I'm so proud of you. And she's like, "Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, you've been great too. Good job, Dupes. Good jobs." And so she said, "If you buy another one, that is the end of the relationship."
Oh,
so when I bought my other fire engine and drove it home, I parked it up at the shed and didn't say anything. And 4 months later, I think, we were going to a New Year's Eve party, and I had to be like, so when you're there, you'll see there's another fire engine there. And that happens to be mine as well. And funny enough, it didn't really last much longer after that.
I can see why. Oh dear. Oh dear.
So,
You've
yes,
been buying fire engines.
Yes. Good move. Good move. Yes, so that's good. What's next on the question?
There are worse reasons. There are worse reasons. You know, there are worse reasons to not buy a fire engine. Speaking of impulse buy, do you still question why? Aaron is asking, which impulse buy do you still question?
I was going to say, can we clarify which one that was? Because that, out of all of my impulse purchases, not many of them are actually impulse.
Oh.
Most of them, Dupes was. I've been looking for a fire engine for a while with Dupes, and most of the vehicles are all kind of things that have been looked at and gone, yeah, I'll go with that. So I don't think there's been any real impulse purchases that I've gone for. Yeah, I think they've all been kind of. I don't think any of them I go, why? There's ones I look at, certain vehicles that I go up and go, yeah, that was a mistake. That was I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have bought that. Well, that was a lot worse than I thought it was going to be. But it's part of it. You know, there's 3 things I think in the shed that realistically I should have walked away from. One of them is the Moggy but I'd got the van, the trailer that I'd borrowed from work, and taking it up there and kind of looked around and was like, this is a lot worse than I thought it was going to be. But I borrowed the van and the trailer from work.
That's right.
And so, well, we'll load it up. But I should have just turned around and said, mate, you're taking the whatever, and not done it. Red Ruth, realistically as well, based on the condition of it and what he said it was, I should have said, nah, mate. On the other hand, I was tempted to say, nah, mate, but it was cheaper to buy it, chance of getting it home than it was to get the train to go home. So, good decision in that regard. And there's another vehicle in the shed that we haven't revealed yet that I just shouldn't. Yeah.
Good choice. Good choice.
The best thing about driving Red Reef home, I remember we set a hard cut-off that we need to leave by 12 to be back, to give it about 6 hours to get back. So it was before it got dark. And I knew that it wasn't charging. The one thing he told me was wrong with it was the alternator wasn't charging. The rest of it, he said, oh yeah, I've been using it regularly, it's fine. Had he hell. So we'd kind of struggled to get it to start because it wouldn't start on the bottom. You had to go underneath and put a spanner between the terminals, a hot spanner, to get it to start. And then it didn't want to start either. So it was a lot of spannery start. Oh, it died. Spannery. So then I managed to find the wire and reconnect the wire. So at least it did start on the bottom. But we kind of looked around and got a collection of old, like, vintage lawnmowers, like, you know, ride-on, which he kind of broke for spares. But there were like maybe 100 of these things just scattered around. So we didn't leave till maybe 2 o'clock. And then we we got to the end of this guy's drive. He basically lives on a farm. And I'd shaken his hand, paid him the money, got sorted the insurance, and started off going home in this thing. Got to the end of the drive, and it just started to cough and make that noise the diesel makes just before it caps out. I haven't even got a mile. And so I just pulled onto the road, and it's about to stall. It's an automatic. So I managed to knock it into mid to get into neutral, put my foot to the floor, and it's so I like, right, lock it into first. And just on the horizon, I could see a shell. I like, just get it to the shell, get it some fresh diesel. We pulled in, didn't turn it off, filled it up with diesel, and just brimmed the tank until it was literally at the filler neck for 100 and something quid, and just hit the road out of Red Ruth. So we managed to get ourselves onto the main road, and slowly she crept up to 50, and the needle just stopped dead on 50. And okay, that's all she's got into her.
I'll do.
And so off we go. And it was like, okay, and we hit our first hill, and the road goes from a dual carriageway to a single. And we're going up this. I'm like, mate, we're doing really well. She's flying up here. And he's like, we're not, are we? We're not going fast. I'm like, we're doing 50. He's like, we're not, Lawrie. We're not doing 50. Tap the speedo. It's like 25, 20, 15. So we crawled out of the hill, belching smoke out of this thing as we crawled out of this hill. And I counted 33 cars behind us as we made our way slowly out.
33 so we did record.
we did a couple of hills, and after that, she cleared herself out and she ran beautifully smooth for the rest of the trip home. But yeah, that was definitely a. Perhaps we shouldn't have done it. But anyway, so we calculated this to try and get home before rush hour. We're like, well, we don't want to go through the M25. There'd be a load of police on that. We're aware that there are things wrong with this truck as we're going along. I don't want to pull. I really don't want to pull on this thing. So we're going along, and we get to Birmingham at peak rush hour. And by this point, the throttle's stuck. So you've either got full power, you take your foot off and it goes to 3/4 power, or you've got to flick your foot underneath it to take the throttle off. So you're driving in a very way. And we're crossing the track, and alongside us pulls a policeman in traffic. And I'm like, oh.
Here we go.
And at this point, I was driving Laurie's commercial. I'm like, oh, here we go. This is my license gone. They're going to find something wrong with this truck. I know they'll find something wrong with this truck. And so I kind of look down at the policeman, and the policeman in his police car looks down, looks at me, locks eye contact, and goes, and it goes off. I'm like, and so yeah, we drove it home without incident. Apart from when we did turn the headlights on to try and save the battery, we found that they were candles, like full beam on it was basically like side lights. They were awful. So the last bit of the journey was like,
not being able to see. I can't imagine that. I'm good.
I've got plenty of friends who tell the tales back in the day when they recovered vehicles and did stupid things driving them home. You know, they pulled it out of the field with a tree growing through it, fired it up, and drove it home, kind of thing. And I loved all these stories of the old rogues, firing, managing to get something home. Mm-hmm. And I'd always gone, you wouldn't be able to do it today. But I joined the club of driving something that was pulled out of a shed and
something that should not have been on the road. Got it home.
I've never said that. It totally should have been on the road. It was fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Totally fine.
Nothing wrong at all here, officer.
No, so the highlight of the whole thing was my mate James said, the floor this side is a bit soft, it's a bit spongy. And you're just being stupid, mate, it's fine. And he'd also say, I've got a bit of a headache. And I was like, it's fine, yeah, you're just being. So he wound the window down, the window fell out of the bracket, so that was fun for the whole way home. So when we got it home, we found that the exhaust had fallen off because the exhaust box sat at an angle there. So it just rotted through. So that's why you got a bit of a headache, because we're just being gassed by the exhaust. And then we lifted the floor and just pulled the rubber matting up where he'd been sat, where he said it was funny. There was no floor. The only floor there was the rubber mat. There was nothing. It was just.
He's just lucky he didn't. Oh no!
I sent him a picture and he was like,
"Dear God!"
So that's the story of Red.
Wow! Another amazing story. That one of many. One of many.
Yeah, there's been a few now.
Tom is asking, did you buy any have you bought any full-size wagons? If not, would you?
Not standard gauge yet. I want a Toad. That's what I really want. I want a Great Western Toad.
Good choice.
I think that would be superb behind the 48 with a nice veranda. That's what I really want. I want a Great Western Toad. I'd love to have a couple of just wagons. Did you technically buy me with ice cream and footplate? Yes, I own your soul. There's places like Tanfield Railway that have huge amounts of stock, which I'm fairly sure if you went up with a plan, they'd allow you to purchase something to do up. And there's a load of wagons that I'd like to have a couple of wagons. I'd like to have a van or something, but particularly the first proper item stock I want to get is a brake van. Then I'd like a Lomac, because I can park things on the Lomac and drive up and down with my loco, my fire engine, and my brake van.
Proper LMM train.
Yeah, that's that. I want to.
That would be amazing.
My main ambition at the moment is I want to get the 165 done and 303 done, and then we can host the LM gala and run our own railway gala. And I just that makes me all kinds of exciting to think. Yeah,
that would be so cool.
What's running today? LMM. So I'm waiting for Matt, who was in the chat earlier, to pass out as a guard at Whitwell, because then we can crew it as an LMM railway. Because I can drive the 48. Yeah. D, who's in the chat, is the second man on the 48. So if we have an LMM guard, we can operate the railway as LMM, and that makes me excited.
So is that your end game for the Whitwell, Reepham and Whitwell, to take it over?
I like the idea of having a complete siding of my stuff. Yeah. and to be able to put on the LMM gala where my stuff comes out.
Challenge accepted.
I keep threatening to bring more stuff there, and they're like,
Please
I own the majority. Like, out of all, I am the I own more locomotives on site than the guy who owns the site.
Oh,
You could need a longer line or some more sidings soon.
We that is a conversation that's happened.
so the conversation isn't move your stuff. It's
No,
we need to get bigger.
The conversation has been, guys, can I have a siding? Like, can we lay a siding, please?
We've had that. We used to have that discussion at the Telford Steam Railway years ago because one of the guys kept buying more big diesels.
Oh yeah.
That's when the Class 37 turned up, and they were like, "Well, we've got to put down a new siding for these coaches that are turning up." Then, so they did.
Yeah, that's the answer. What did they
Make
say
space for the Class 37?
Oh, I think was the reaction when the 165 was delivered. Oh.
Whitwellenham.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to suggest that to them.
The LLM and Reapwell Railway. I like that.
Were you trying to be clever with the Reapwell, or do you just not know how to spell? I honestly can't tell at this point.
I don't know how to speak, so there you go. Two of a pair. They said many things we cannot put in the chat here.
My favourite thing, and I won't repeat it entirely even ever, but there is a status board of the locomotives, and for one of the 165, it is a 6-letter word that begins with F and ends with D. And then, no, that's for 303. It's just, that's all it says is that. And then for the 165, it is the same word, but not as bad as 303. And that is their official status.
I want a copy of that on my wall.
It's just like, yep, that's fair.
Yes. Wow. Okay. Right. Matt is asking, when are you coming to Australia?
Oh, when I have some money.
I
want to go to Oz, and I really want to get back to New Zealand. But money and time. Yeah. So, if anybody wants to sponsor me to go to Australia,
Matt.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, please, Damien. I would love to see that board. Please do.
Oh, it's quite cool. He mentioned allowing me to run the Bigboy in Engage on his layout, so he's now busy making some scenic area for it. Sounds fun. Mm-hmm.
And then last one we have here is what would you rather see as a new build, P1 or the Great Bear?
Probably the Great Bear. As much as I feel we have enough Great Western new builds going on, because frankly, I don't give a single flying whatever about the fact there's another Great Western 460, because you've seen one Great Western 460, you've seen the rest of them. I strongly disagree with that one.
The 47.
It's cut up 3 engines.
I know, it's bad. We're going to get one.
It's robbed. I feel strongly that that's robbed my generation and future generations the chance to do a Barry wreck. And for components that one could make for the money, it just seems like a senseless waste to cut up engines which were there for someone to restore. It just seems. Also, frankly, it's not going mainline. They're not done it to mainline standard. What the hell is the point?
I know, right? Where is it going to go?
It's pointless. I love it. I'm not on board with the 460s, like Saint Maidie. It's like, it's still a haul. It's just been mucked around with.
Yep.
And we have enough Great Western. There are plenty of engines which didn't survive into preservation, like for instance the P1 or the Great Bear, which would be a lot. Yes, that's it. They cut up the last Doncaster built 8F for that as well, and I can't get on board with that because it was cheaper than buying a boiler. So it's not even the right boiler for it. So we have enough Great Western 460s, and the County, the Grange, the Saint aren't really different enough for me to give a whatsoever. It's still a Great Western 460.
Yep.
They don't represent big part. There are plenty of other classes that weren't preserved, whether within the Great Western or elsewhere. Like the County 440 project is something I'm more excited about because it's something different.
That should be done. Yes.
But the 3 of them, they're fantastic things to do, but we have enough of them, so I don't care that much. We're just talking, Peachy, about what the superior scale is for model railwaying.
That was like an hour and a half ago, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a very delayed reaction, wasn't it?
And we were talking about basically, if you're going to do TT, how trying TT is the superior way to go about it. Yeah, more options of locomotives to run, better scale, runs better.
P4.
What else can I say? He's going to hurt me. Anyway, it moves with. Yeah, so in terms of that, I think the Great Bear, if you're doing it to mainline standards, because it could be a good mainline performer, the P1 would be a totally pointless thing to do because it's far too big to run on anywhere heritage and it's too slow to go on the mainline. Yeah, the P1, yeah.
Yeah. There's two difficult options, but I think I go for the P1 first. See,
I love the idea of everything running. I love the idea of being able to build all these new builds, but I look at the idea of a P1, like, where would you run it? It's too big. I mean, I had this discussion at Didcot with the Blue King, because the Blue King, as you probably know, did about 2 years in traffic.
Yep.
And so I was down there and chatting to their guys and said, are you going to do it? Like, surely it needs to retube and it could go back out. And they went, yep, we've done an exam on it. The bottom end's totally tight. We don't need to do anything. It's just a retube and it's good to go. Nobody wants it. They said, we've offered it on pieces for long-term hire. People say, yeah, we'll have it for a weekend for a gala. But nobody wants to have it as a... nobody wants to have it as a locomotive on long-term hire to the railway as a regular performer. Yeah. And in order to light it up and get it into steam, it takes the same amount as coal as it takes to run Trojan or King George or presumably the 14XX for a week.
It's not it wouldn't be as economic on like a railway like the Severn Valley as a pannier or a prairie though either, would it? It'd eat coal like it's going out of fashion. So why would you want something like that on long-term loan?
And this is the problem. It's far too coal hungry. And I think, sadly, that's the end. We're going to see, as things come to the end of their current ticket, unless they're a mainline performer, whilst we can still go mainline, we're going to see the end of big engines. We're going to see the end of namers. Because,
yep.
I mean, I used to volunteer at the Nene Valley, the 92 Squadron. I mean, you basically shoveled a ton of coal to get that into steam. The grate is colossal. And we're doing, 5 coaches? I mean, that thing, when you're running it, is the fire alight? Yes, well, then you have enough steam. Have you got holes in the grate? Yes, you probably need to put more coal on. That's it. So unless you're somewhere that really needs it, like realistically, the moors, where they got, you need a decent engine. But even that, like the J27? Is it J27? Whatever they've got there.
Surely an ideal loco for the moors would be the Raven or an 8F or something like that, wouldn't it?
Perfect.
It'd do the job perfectly well on less coal.
Heavy, a goods engine's fine because it's designed to run slower anyway, so it's perfect. But I don't see, we don't need the big engines. The perfect engine for preservation is an austerity. It goes anywhere. It does anything.
Yep.
It's Peachy, you did miss the fact that I have pre-ordered the new starter set with the B4 in TT 120.
We're not telling him.
Oh, he's got to know. He knows. He's got to know. I like the guy too much. Like we've had long, but yes, I'm excited for that. Apart from the fact there's nothing to run with it, Peachy. It's as the person. Peachy told me that I'm actually, for my videos I've done on TT, the trying TT, I'm actually rather disliked by the TT community. I'm like, yes, because I took the mick too much with it, and it needs to hand build track. That'd be a disaster, wouldn't it? So yes, anyway,
nightmare.
Oh no, thank you. So yeah, to go back to the point, I have to look at when people come to me with, "Oh, would you like to see one of these new built?" I have to look at the case for it, and like a P1, there's just no case for it. It's the same as when people say, "Oh, we should build a new E2." I was like, "Well, why?" They were, yeah, exactly. They were a failure of a locomotive. Why would you build something that's a failure of a locomotive? It and there's no case for it. It didn't do what it was meant to do, so there's no reason to build one.
There's only one reason that people know about them.
Exactly. and the reason they know about it was because the Reverend went, make it like that.
Yeah. So, it was an accident.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there was a point last year at the top result YouTube for TT 120 from videos. I didn't say it off. I just talked about TT, of like trying TT, and how lovely that was. So I don't know. I think I'm trapped here
until we stop. Until we stop.
So yeah, there's plenty of interesting things out there, which would be like the Standard 3 project. Brilliant. Like that's
makes project is a good idea.
But we don't need anything bigger than that. So any project bigger than that, realistically, now is doomed for failure. Really, I think.
Well, I was just going to reiterate to what you were saying, just beforehand. Like, I think the days of these big locomotives, they are numbered, because we're just running out of not room, but just the capacity to be able to run them for long periods of time. It's and why are they needed?
The big problem is there's only one pot of money, and that pot of money has to go between everything. And frankly, the reason I like Heritage is I like all these impossible survivors. I like Scotsman. I like my 48. I like any of the Great Western stuff, because I like Trojan, because all of these things are things that have gone above and beyond their design life. They should, by all reason, have been scrapped because they are no longer needed. They've been superseded. They are obsolete. And I love the fact that for some stupid reason that we've taken an attachment to it and gone, you know what, I like this thing. It's a lot harder to drive. It's a lot more uncomfortable. It's a lot longer day, and I get filthy. But you know what? I like it, and I want to keep it. And I love the fact that they survived. So, like, for instance, Tornado. I think Tornado is an incredible piece of engineering. I fired Tornado. I've charged my phone on Tornado, and it's incredible. Like, being on it is absolutely insane. But it's got no history. It feels too clinical. It doesn't have that same feeling as a Heritage machine. It's just lacking in some regard. And that's how I feel about the new builds, because they don't have that silly history, because they aren't impossible survivors. It doesn't work for me as much. I mean, I still think it's cool. Like the P2 when it's done, I'm going to be one of the first to see the P2 because awesome.
Yeah, no, I can get by that. I definitely think the smaller projects are the ones that need to be focused on. I think they're just more appealing as well. Honestly, they're easier to move around. I think a lot of new people that are going to these heritage sites, they're going to get used to these smaller things. I don't think, a lot of these smaller locomotives that become home locomotives as well is another thing that is something that is probably a good idea, rather than moving all these big locomotives here, there, and everywhere, and having galas specifically because X big thing is coming here for a change. Home fleets, small home fleets should be the focus.
But big things bring people, don't they?
That's true.
Look at Scotsman on the Severn Valley.
Scotsman when it goes anywhere. Oh, what have I missed?
No, the Scotsman is a sour subject on the shunting yard. No, we have many opinions about the flying teapot.
Honestly, I love Scotsman. I think Scotsman's an amazing thing, and also, at the end of the day, regardless of any feelings of it, it is a great ambassador for the hobby. The amount of people who it brings in, whilst it causes chaos and it brings people who don't really care, if even you get 10% of those people who come to the Heritage Railway because Grandad drove Flying Scotsman, even 10%, even 5% of them go, oh, this is really nice, and they come back, it's done its job. Yep. It's a wonderful ambassador for the hobby because everybody knows of it.
No, I completely agree. I do slate it a lot, but that's just personal opinion. A lot, but it does do wondrous things for the hobby, for both heritage, survival, and for modelling, for sure. So, guys, I have to ask the question: do either of you have a hard stop? Are you happy to continue, or should we wrap this up?
I'm probably going to have to shoot off soon.
I think before it gets to midnight, 2 o'clock.
So why don't we start ramping this down? Let's get some final thoughts.
But there are questions unanswered.
I know there are questions. So what we're going to have to do, Lawrie, is we're going to have to get you back.
What, to ramble and not complete it?
No, that's fine. I'll save everything from beforehand. So look, we'll cover.
We haven't even got past the introduction of the questions yet. We haven't even got on. There's a whole thing here of discussion of heritage lines, and we haven't.
Worth it. It really has been worth it.
We haven't even got anywhere close.
No.
I've got to get up for work tomorrow.
So do we. So do we all. So look, we'll end it off with a question for each of us. I think that but will bring us back to heritage lines and modeling. So, if you could have a line or a station that you could model or see modeled, what would it be, and what gauge would you think best suit it? So if you could take any station or line and model it or see it modeled, what and what scale?
There's two answers for this for me.
Mm.
One, my friend's doing it, but I love the idea. I'd love to model Volstein out in Poland. I'd love to do a model of how it was to represent that period of working steam, because it's steam that was genuine working steam in my lifetime, and that I feel is cool before it even became a preservation thing. I'd like to see that model to represent working steam in the 2000s, and the other one that's a layout that I keep planning on doing. So that would be HO, because that is 00, but modelled roughly on Bressingham. So they have a standard gauge line that has 15-inch running next door to it, and the standard gauge runs into one of their display sheds and then runs parallel with their other big shed. And I would love to do it as a model railway with the standard gauge line and the shed becoming your fiddle yard, so they disappear into a back scene. So it just means you can run whatever the hell you want, because it can come out of the shed with a brake pan and just shunt up and down the line and then disappear back into the shed. You can drag stuff in and out the shed, do a little bit of shunting, and you can run whatever you want, because you can just your entire collection can go out and it all looks fine because it's a museum. And then I would replace the 15-inch gauge with 2 foot. You've got 009 running parallel, and so just that's what I want to build as a just showcase of, hey, look, I've got locomotives, chug. And 00, because it's just because I bought into the gauge. Although 00 is entirely the wrong gauge and the wrong scale, I've got a load of stuff in it, so I'd like to run it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a solid choice. Rob, what about you, mate?
Now I've thought about this one quite hard. It's what I spent most of my day at work thinking about, to be honest. I've always wanted to model Rugby Station in the 1950s, 60s.
Mm.
That might sound a bit boring to some, but Rugby Station used to be absolutely huge and have it used to have such a selection of rolling stock going through that station. It was ridiculous, from every single region as well. And then just to top it off, there's this massive birdcage bridge that used to go over the station. They used to carry the Great Central. And over that, you'd have like your 9Fs, your 8Fs and all that pulling mile-long coal trains over that bridge.
Mm.
So that paired with all the different region passenger trains stopping at Rugby Station, I just think would just be such a stunning layout. And also you've got the different diversions going out from each end of the station as well, which would loop round to like a fiddle yard, and I think it'd just work really well. But I think it'd be a bit ambitious. I did say I've got it written down here. I'd love to see it in O gauge, but I am also ultimately very aware of how big of a space you'd need for that.
You need a purpose-built building.
Yeah, a bit like Heaton Lodge. So I've said I'd probably build it in N gauge.
Okay.
Just to comment on Peachy 120s, any gauge is better. As long as it's like anything better than 00, apart from TT 120.
Apart from TT 120. Okay, good shouts. I couldn't think of. I was looking around.
So sorry, Peachy. I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize. Never apologize for 120. So I was looking around at British lines that I know and that I visited to think of what could be modelled, and it seems like everything I visited has been modelled at one point or another in its life. I've done the southern side of things. So the Watercress line is my home line. I visited it a lot growing up. The South Devon, the Dartmouth Steam Railway, all of these things I've seen modelled in one instance or another. And I think I'm looking at the same as you, Rob. So actually, I'd like to model Basingstoke in the late the late 50s, early 60s. In that, getting to the end of steam period, I've seen a lot of my grandparents have a lot of history books, which covers a lot of information on the the railway station. And I know it's southern, but it had a Great Western shed there as well. It just fits in, and I think it would look grand, and it would be huge, even in double O. But it would have to be O gauge.
Everything's better in O gauge. It's just that
because you don't like having money.
Well, I don't have any money now, so live while you can. No, it would have to be hometown for sure.
To just go on a tangent there, your Land Rover was awesome, Peachy. I did enjoy that. I'd actually, that's what PN Trains said to it. Hailsworth Station and the Southwold Railway that'd be a great thing to model.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good shout.
I mean, I'd love to do Ipswich Docks as well. Ipswich Docks would be, how that was in its heyday would have been great.
Right. We will wrap up with these last two questions. So, if you could own a locomotive that you don't already.
I was going to say, I've done that, boys. Easy question. I've done that.
Which would it be, and where would you have it?
I think everyone knows the answer. I want a Barclay. I want a little 040 Barclay and add it to the fleet at Whitwell and Reefham. I think that's the other engine that I have seen is on Preston Services. They've got Beckton Gasworks number 1 that used to be at Bressingham up for sale, and it is a very square tank engine, like flat across the top, square. And I just love the idea of owning that. I think it's such a weird little machine, but they want 40 grand for it. It needs a new boiler. It needs major works. New firebox, major works to the boiler, new tubes, and the bottom end's loose. And so it's like, to buy it and get it back, you're going to need like 150 grand. And for 150 grand for a small 040 that doesn't have a cab. But the main reason, the justification for it would be I'd love to turn up to the railway where it's on hire on a wet day and just be like,
my turn.
And just watch people be wet on it.
Off you go.
What about you guys?
So for me, I've just broken the buffer off it, but there needs to be another baby pannier on the circuit. So for me, it has to be the 1366. I fell in love with it, and
I've been on the footplate of it. It's cracking. It's
my
an amazing
favorite
engine.
locomotive. Like,
it's my favorite Western engine.
I just need it.
It's so cute, isn't it?
It is just the cutest thing in the universe. Next to a Ruston. I think the Ruston is a close second.
Good choice. A man of excellent taste, I can tell.
For sure. But it would have to be at home. It would have to be on the watercrest, so I can, just leave the parents' house and just wander down the road and hop in my baby pannier. Rob, I think we all know what yours is going to be.
No, you don't.
No, we don't. Okay, what is it then?
I would go for a 1400.
Oh,
good choice.
There's
Lovely
two then.
And I would put it on the Telford Steam Railway, because hearing that thing bark up the bank from the lower station would sound would echo through the Severn Valley all the way to Bridge North.
Mm-hmm.
It just sounds phenomenal.
The 56 there, and opening the 56 up and going up the bank there was lovely.
It makes a lot of noise up there, doesn't it?
Mm. Yeah, it does. I look forward to the extension going in there. Like when they actually get through to the other, that would be great.
They promised that extension would be finished down to Doseley when I started volunteering there 9 years ago.
Mm. Yeah,
oh, wow,
they said they're
slow progress.
Yeah.
They said that he hoped for this next year. I think they said they were hoping for stuff to happen with it.
Oh, nice. It's exciting.
But whether or not we see, we'll see.
Yeah. Time's relative at Heritage Railways, isn't it? It's
yeah, isn't it just?
Okay, and then very short one to keep it off, and then we'll finish this off and close off. What is your favourite heritage site? And that's not just railway, but heritage site in general. It's probably going to be a railway, but I have to generalize these things.
I think. Whoa. I'm gonna have to top 5.
Oh, okay.
Because I can't think of the absolute top of the list for. I think the best place I've ever been for atmosphere and just attention is Beamish. Beamish is superb. absolutely. The attention to detail, the fact that you genuinely feel that you've gone back in time, especially as you have crude engines there, and you just feel it's amazing. Like Beamish is incredible. The atmosphere there, the people, the volunteers, and the staff. It's just great. And if you go for one of their big events like the big steam fair they do with traction engines and visiting vehicles trundling around, it's phenomenal. And if you haven't been to Beamish, highly recommend it. Like it's just phenomenal. So the atmosphere of it's brilliant. So then I'd follow it up with Tanfield, because they have so much stock and locomotives there that are out on their runs. It is the sidings there. It is the closest you will get in the UK to visiting a scrapyard, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. But the opportunity for us and our generation to walk around unrestored stock that's in an abandoned way, we don't have the opportunity. And the railway, you can go and walk around, and there's a plan for a lot of the stuff there, but that sensation of walking around stock in a disrepaired condition that needs restoration, whilst you have the opportunity to do it and actually sample what the guys who came before us had to do when they walked around scrapyard and they selected stock to save, it's an experience that you really should do, to see engines in that state in stock and realize the condition that people took on these things to bring them back into preservation. And it's a really humbling experience, and it's well worth going and just walking around and going, holy hell, the guys before us have done, we are so lucky. Like the heritage, I'm sure you know from where you are, like in the UK, we're so lucky with heritage and what's going on and how many things we have. Like compared to Poland, they've got two standard gauge working steam engines.
There's nothing here, but we've got 2 standard gauge steam locomotives here that traverse up and down the main line occasionally, and there's a narrow gauge line in the center of the country with 4 locomotives.
And we've got so much here.
Yeah,
we're so lucky with what we've got. It's incredible. But you look at the state that people got them. Oh, and the North Yorkshire Moors. Yes, there we go. Done. We're so lucky. And you see the state of the rolling stock that people have taken restored. So that's got to be up there. And then for me, it's always got to be Mid Suffolk. The atmosphere at Mid Suffolk is. It feels like a little railway. It's not trying to be anything else. It's trying to recreate the Mid Suffolk. So the stock is appropriate to Mid Suffolk. There's nothing on the railway that's newer than 1952 because that's when the railway closed. And it feels like you go back in time. It's got that wonderful atmosphere. We had the railway Heritage Railway Association come for a visit, and they said that it was more the Colonel Stephenson's Light Railway than the Kent and East Sussex. That's the vibe, and it's just glorious. It's a lovely day out on a little railway that feels. We used to have a lady called Edie, and she used to ride the railway when she was a schoolgirl to get to school, and she came back before she passed to ride the railway in preservation, and said it had the same kind of vibe to what the railway that she rode going to school, and that was lovely. And the Mid East stuff is just it's a quintessential country railway. Then Corris. It is the quintessential narrow gauge. I need to get back there and do some more turns because I haven't been up for ages. But you come around on the footplate of that, and it is just narrow gauge personified. It's so much more condensed than anywhere else, but it's got the views, it's got the sensation, and it's genuinely, I think, my favourite railway in the UK. I absolutely love being at Corris. It's absolutely fantastic. Going up there. And the view from the footplate, looking over the valley. I've done it in the snow. I can imagine that. It was a nightmare getting there to Wales in the snow, but well worth it. Charging up the valley, slipping in the snow, and one of my favourite railway experiences I've ever had, fighting through the snow on the Corris. It's beautiful. It's all just, and you lose yourself in it, and you're back in the day. And then of course. Finally, the top one for me is Whitwell and Reefham because it's the home of my fleet.
I think that's a very solid and justified list. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
I can't top that. I can't top it. Unfortunately, all of my memories of heritage lines or heritage sites are from many, many years ago, and they're the good memories I have. For me, I love the Watercress line. It's where my journey began. It's I have many fond memories of not just visiting the line, but a lot of things that happened to and from getting there. My grandmother drowned her car because we had to get to the I was a young lad who really wanted to go and see the train, so my grandmother said fine, okay, after we had a downpour, and she drowned her car for me to get there. It was but I think it's the SDR. I think for me it just looks the part, it sounds the part, it just oozes essence for me. And I spent a lot of time there as well, as a wee lad traveling down to Exeter, which I did a lot as well. So yeah, I think top of the list for me is SDR, but I am biased, little Western boy.
A little bit.
Rob, what about you, mate? Close us off.
I've got a bit of a toss-up here as between two. I've got Didcot Railway Centre, which I class as like the playground for any GWR enthusiast.
But I disagree. I think it's just the sensation of walking in the shed. You don't have to be a Western enthusiast. There is nothing else in the country that hits as hard as when you walk into that shed.
It's like walking into it's like walking back in time, isn't it? As soon as you walk in that shed, it's surrounded by these steam engines in slumber. It's just
in the proper shed, like Western,
actual Great Western shed. Yeah,
it is. Again, if you've not done Didcot, you should. It is. There isn't. I don't think there's anywhere else in preservation. Possibly Barrow Hill, but there's nowhere else that hits quite as hard as that kind of wow, it's real.
That's right. Yeah. And then I'm going to go to the other end of the scale. And I'm going to say Statfold Barn.
Was high on my list as well. What a collection!
It's I think I've been there since I've taken my daughter there 4 or 5 times in the last year or two, and it's just absolutely amazing, that place. How it sprouted from some guy's just random collection of narrow gauge stock and a little railway in his garden to what it is today is just absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, it's
the largest collection. It's the largest collection of N-gauge stock as well, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much, yes. But they work. That's the thing. That like the majority of the collection work or are in the queue to be worked on or are being worked on. It's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And it's such an important thing to see so many engines that were important to this country being recovered back to this country and to be working again. Absolutely. It's fantastic. Also, apparently, we have to have me and Peachy to have a fight.
Oh,
Peachy, that's a MERP thing. That is fight clubs, not us.
No,
so
we don't associate. No, that's not true. We have a good love-hate relationship. Amazing. So we tried to stay on topic. Lawrie, thank you very much for your story. No, thank you very much for your stories.
It's been very good.
Amazingly
really
engaging.
enjoyed it.
Lovely to get to know you as well.
We might do like 2 hours runtime that you suggested. We have failed at your maybe 2 hours runtime. And I appreciate that like 90% that's my fault.
We usually fail the 2-hour mark, but not by this much. We are a full 30 minutes longer.
This is the longest stream to date.
Oh, good. I'm glad to set a new bottom of record.
You're gonna have to come back and break the record now. You know that, right?
We still got like a side of A4 of questions to go through. All your hard work.
We will get you back for another stream. We'll have to.
It's gonna have to be done, I'm afraid. You've got no choice in the matter now.
That sounds very good. It has been super good fun. I'm sorry for taking us off on a tangent so much, and hopefully I won't have got too many new stories. I mean, you've heard most of the stories now, so
it's been brilliant to hear your stories, Lawrie. Genuinely, it's been really nice to sit back and hear you just talk about your experiences. It's just brilliant.
Yeah,
it's been fun.
I need more beer though. I should have bought more beer. This was definitely a need for more. So next time
I'll have beer too.
Anyway,
I haven't even started then.
Oh God, you must be drier than a.
don't say it, James.
Thing I'm not going to finish.
We've done so well. We've done so well all stream.
Anyone who is British will know how that sentence was going to end.
Loz's comment. Wow.
trying not to.
Wow. Loz. Wow.
Do you know what, Loz? Next time we'll get you on.
Get them both on.
Get you both on.
God.
There you go.
Oh.
But we'll leave you with Hilton and Dan, and we'll sit on the sidelines and we'll see how that goes. No, it's been an amazing time, Lawrie.
Thank you very much, Harmonious. It's been a good laugh. I have enjoyed it.
It's been an honour, Lawrie.
I'm saying, Christ, please don't.
Yeah.
There's the duo we're going to need as well. So we've got many avenues opening. So
In fairness,
yeah.
Tom promised everybody who joined that Lawrie would only be on this once, and then we invited him on again.
We still have questions.
We still got questions. We have to finish them up. We're going to have to do a post video, or at least set up something else for sure. So anyway, I'm going to close this off. Say thank you very much to everybody who's joined us. It's been a real pleasure having you on. Thank you for being engaging, asking your
Thanks for the questions,
and causing chaos, which is exactly what we're here to do. So, Rob, where can people find you?
I can be found on YouTube and Instagram as The Kiln Line.
Go and have a look for them. Lawrie, if people don't know already, where can they find you?
I believe I'm on the internet. You can find me on YouTube by searching for LMM, or Instagram, or Facebook, or just the internet will find us.
One of them. Type Ruston48DS, and he's in one of those.
Yeah, it'll probably be one of mine. Yeah.
It is. I checked earlier when you mentioned it.
It's gone stupid, hasn't it?
Could be worse.
3 hours.
Yay!
I've got no beer.
Go on, James.
Look for me on Instagram and YouTube at the Little Western Model Railway. So, I've been James. This is Rob. This is Lawrie. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. And we will see you next week, where Dan and Hilton might turn up. We'll find out.
If they're not too lazy.
We'll find out. Have a good night, guys, and we'll see you later. Take care.
I was just trying to end the stream. I was like, I'm so used to pressing the end
button. Are you going to push the button, are you? Yeah.
How do I end the stream?
I'll sit here and wait. You try and push the button. There you go.
I'm moving the mouse around being like, where's the button gone? I forgot where I was.
Quick screenshot. We'll see you guys
and
later.
On that bombshell, it's time to end. Good night.
See you later.